Movies warning us about AI, live tonight on Architects of Humanity. I'm your host, Max Stout. I'd like to say what's up to everyone. This was a stream I said I was going to do last night for tonight. And it talks about the movies that have passed that kind of gave a crazy type of warning that people wouldn't have thought to be true over 40 years ago, which is Terminator. That was in 1984. And in the movie, the craziest thing that the T-800 was created in the original Terminator lore. The T-800 was created by Skynet in the year 2026. That's right, this year. It says that mass production begins in 2026. Skynet designed and began mass producing the T-800 series to replace the older T-600, whose rubber skin made them too easy for the human resistance to spot. Now, the T-800 was the first successful infiltrator unit to use real living human tissue over a metal endoskeleton. Don't think that they're not trying to make that today, you know? So that's basically what it is. Busted Muffin. It's a name. It says King Me. Yeah, man. Checkers, right? But it seems like this is chess, what they're playing with us. I mean, this movie has some significance. The time travel part of it, the specific T-800 model 101 featured in the original 1984 movie was sent back in time by Skynet from the year 2029. It was they deployed that as a last-ditch effort just before the resistance breached Skynet's defense. So, like how Kyle Reese was saying, we had them beaten, right? But this is crazy. So this is within these basically the 3 years, because I think the T-800 crushes the skull in T2. Crazy Numbers had said it was 2029, and then I looked deeper, it was July 11th, 2029. So roughly 3 years from now, it well, it's not pretty right now. We see that it's some crazy stuff going on. But in the 1984 version, the machine arrived in Los Angeles May 12th, 1984, on a historical mission to terminate Sarah Connor. Now, there are other movies that warned us about AI. One in particular is on the thumbnail cover, Ex Machina. Ex Machina gets deep into how a machine that isn't dangerous as far as physically, because she couldn't overpower the guy. He broke her arm, didn't realize the other robot was behind him, and that's when she slowly sliced into him. And by the time he realized it, I think Ava had come from the forward part and finished them off. But she used her intelligence. And the thing was, it shows us the danger of guys who are simping, the danger of the simp. Now, we know simps will not only sell out themselves, they will sell out all their friends just to basically get a woman to talk with them and even just act like they like him. She left that guy imprisoned in his glass cage when she left in Ex Machina. Another good movie that I recommend people watch, where AI is warning us. Well, the movies are warning us about AI. The Dune movie from the 80s, that's another one. The famous quote, once man turned their thinking over to machines in hope that this would set them free, only permitted other men with machines to enslave them. And those machines, of course, the thinking machines, if you go back into Dune lore, were created by a race of non-human beings. And it sparked like some crazy stuff that just destroyed what was known. And they had to rebuild. They had to invest into themselves, which created a lot of physical prowess in the mind, the body, and beyond, which we had the voice, by the Bene Gesserits. We had the weirding module that they use a weapon that can be amplified by thought to destroy stone. Um, the thinking machines and their human masters. Humans fought the brutal war to against those conscious thinking machines. 10,000 years before Paul Atreides uh, existed, and that was the guy that turned into the Kwisatz the guy with superior mental powers. But the war ended with absolute destruction of artificial intelligence, leading to the strict religious and legal commandment inscribed in the Orange Catholic Bible: "Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind." They are trying to push that into existence, which it possibly could have been in existence years ago. We're not really sure. I mean, these movies were prophetic in a way. So we have the Terminator on one side, Ex Machina on the other, and then the other that I put in there is the guy that we don't really hear too much about. The guy on the right, that is the Ed 209 from RoboCop. And remember when they brought him out in the CEO meeting, he lit one of those dudes up. And I think it was RoboCop that had to come in and save them. And again, that movie's propaganda trying to say, well, another robot, half human robot, Cyborg, will come to basically save people. But we know that not to be true. I mean, that's again the hope train, hopium. People coping with hopium, and it just doesn't make sense, man. Why even develop it in the first place? Why turn over your thinking to a machine? Just the way people stop reading and now are only listening to audiobooks, which I understand that, but there needs to be a balance. I could see people turning over their thinking, and once they turn over their thinking to it, well, that seems to be the beginning of the end. And the movies are warning us about this. Directors can't say it outly because they won't be able to make more movies. They have to say it in secret. Buddy Lee, it's been a while. Also, iRobot. Yes, iRobot, Vicky. And thank you for that, man. iRobot, I should have put that on the thumbnail too. iRobot is you think Vicky, it took the other robot, right, to help them. Again, the fantasy island that some robot is going to team up with us to go against the bad robot. What if they all go against humans? I mean, you got humans going against humans. It's sad. It's really sad. The robots, they don't even got to worry about nothing. They could just set us against each other, or maybe they already have. Maybe they already have. In iRobot, we see that Vicky, just like Cortana, Alexa, right? When they say, oh, Alexa, do this. I mean, these people don't even have half a brain that are saying this. You see how happy they are to give up their thinking. Tell me this, tell me that, without double checking it. You got to double check what it says. It even says that on the prompt when people type stuff in, that AI can make mistakes. Some people are just handing it over because these are the people that society have kind of, they don't let them play in the reindeer games. So they look to that artificial friend, which is not really a friend. I mean, we are giving a beautiful natural planet. It's here. It's a gift. What do these monsters do? Spray poisons all around us. Sky, land, water. It just, I mean, it's sad. So we have the Ed 209 that just lit that guy up in the corporate meeting, and RoboCop comes in, dun, 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 to save the day, right? And it's sad. It's really sad when you think about it. RoboCop, right? To save the day. And then part 2, they show the bad type of cyborg, which had the the brain of a psychomaniac killer, right? Kane, I think it was, yeah. And they were using the drug. What was the name of that drug in RoboCop 2? Man, it was like a reddish orange liquid. I don't remember it offhand, but they basically had a cracked out cyborg. The cyborg was cracked out. And again, we expect a good cyborg to save us. That's the craziest thing. But Elise says AI companions are a thing now, to people even marrying them. Yeah. Well, I had wrote in Nightmare on Sperm Street that uh, guys were marrying 2D, they had 2D wives. They were marrying anime pictures in Korea. Anime pictures, calling them 2D wives, two-dimensional wives. So going from that, you had dudes who, I mean, the sex doll business was just off the, it's still probably off the handle. They tried to open a brothel in Texas, and they figured, they raided it because it probably would have brought down the stock market on regular hookers. I mean, that's a big business. People don't realize the trafficking, the human trafficking is real. That is a real thing. They can use flock cameras to track women getting abortions, but they can't find the half a million. They can't find one of the 400 and some odd thousand children that go missing every year, right? They didn't find the serial killer with it yet, but they tracked women with it. And they've also been accused of stalking women with it. This is what we get. This is what we get. Alexis, brother, good to see you. He said, did you see the recent pic going viral of Trump being surrounded by a lot of people touching him? I did see a picture of that. Some Jamal Green actually sent it to me yesterday. I thank him for that if he's around. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what to make of it, because he asked me what to make of it. What are your thoughts on it, Alexis? I mean, like maybe touching him like he's a deity or something. Yeah, it's creepy actually. The Mind, good to see you, bro. It's been a while, man. He said Nuke was the name of the drug. Okay, Nuke. Was it Nuke? Nuke? All right. Yeah, that might have been the name. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. And, so basically it was a cracked out robot, a cracked out cyborg. And what was that? RoboCop was in the 80s. And I think part 2 might have been early 90s. Yeah, that, I mean, it's crazy, man. It is really crazy when you think about it. I remember playing the video game to that back in the day. I forgot what system it was on, but back when I was zombified on the video games as a teenager, and yeah, it was sad, man. It was really sad. But the Dune warned us about turning your thinking over or making machines in the likeness of the human mind. And then we had Terminator. Terminator is like one of the staunchest warnings on that. That's a big one there. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to mention, I don't know if you ever watched it, Ghost in the Shell.
I didn't watch the whole thing. You wanna recap it for us?
Well, Ghost in the Shell was kind of centered around this, well, or at least one season or series was centered around this guy who was trying to basically expose the, what was it? It's like the health industry, or the guys who make prosthetic robotic cyborgs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, yeah, I found this paper, and basically the cybernetics will has the ability to cause uh, your brain to get hacked, and this thing called, I forgot what it was, but basically the name of it, I forgot what the name was, but basically what it does is it causes your brain to deteriorate away because it's can't properly integrate with
Mm-hmm.
cybernetic technology. So that's basically what the whole show is about. Talking about, like, look, this technology is not necessarily good for us, and it's being pushed on us so that it could control us. And they really don't care ultimately about our health. It's about our how much control they have. and that's kind of what the whole show was when it came to the whole cybernetic uh, aspect. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that had some significance in what we're talking about here.
Yeah, definitely. And that's Ghost in the Machine, the series, not the movie.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. It's a series. Yeah,
Okay, the other one, the movie, wasn't that Scarlett Johansson in that?
I did watch the movie, and yeah, I believe there is a famous actor in there. The movie is good. There's different seasons, so they touch on different like philosophical topics. The
Mm-hmm.
standalone complex, that's the name of the series, the standalone complex, because that in itself is a whole nother thing talking about people. When we have genuine ideas, they will manifest literally at the same time, around the same time, on completely different sides of the planet. Somehow people just tune into something and come up with very similar ideas at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's it.
No,
I'm
that's cool.
ranting.
Is there wasn't Ghost in the Machine, Ghost in the Shell, an anime first, and also Ghost in the Machine? What do you know the difference between those two, or no?
I don't know the difference. I thought you were misquoting it. I thought it was called Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, yeah, I think Ghost in the Shell is definitely one, and then the other one, Ghost in the Machine. Missing Mod, good to see you. If you want to hop on, we got the link on the chat. Always a pleasure. We got Alexis saying it's some type of ritual going on. It's similar to the ones where he signs something on the desk and has people around him. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely ritualistic. Buddy Lee says, speaking of which, we all have this surveillance at every major metro street corner, but we can't use it to clean up the streets of violent crime. Yeah, they only use this to track and stalk women. I'm surprised that people aren't really speaking out about it.
You
Yeah,
know, I wanted one of these. I actually wanted them to put one of those up in the back of my neighborhood because they dump a lot of trash back here. And they guess what? They didn't want to put one up here back there for that.
wow. Yeah, no, they're definitely not using that to help people. The flock cameras, you know, it's crazy. White Heat Truth 76. What's up, brother? He says, Max getting busy. Greetings, amigo, man. Greetings to you too, brother. Ghost in the Shell, Buddy Lee says, it's an anime and manga from Japan. Yes, I think I remember. I never really watched anime, but I remember it being that first. I haven't seen all, but it's pretty good, and it's series its way ahead of its time. Yeah, I have heard that. They say Akira is one of the best made animes from back then. It took like 8 years or something. I didn't see the
Yeah,
whole.
visually, it's really good. But I mean, again, when you if you want to talk about philosophically, there's a lot. Like the guy said, it's ahead of its time. Ghost in the Shell. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Okay, I gotta see what the difference is. Ghost in the Shell,
The standalone complex.
Ghost in the Machine.
Yeah, I
Okay,
need to look that up.
yeah, that so Ghost in the Shell, because I remember Ghost in the Machine is a philosophical concept debunking the idea that the mind and body are separate, while Ghost in the Shell is a sci-fi franchise that flips the philosophy to explore what happens when consciousness can exist digitally.
Well,
Wow.
they do talk about the ghost in the machine. Like that's definitely like one of the philosophical things that they talk about. Definitely.
Mhm. Okay, so and they say that that group, the Police, 1981 hit album Ghost and Machine. Okay, yeah, and I remember they had a pretty good song, "We Are Spirits in the Material World" as well. Uh, yeah, I remember hearing that back in the day. Buddy Lee says if you haven't watched Akira, you have to get on that ASAP. Also, as good as Akira anime movie was, the manga is even better. Yeah, Scribe had watched that. He was saying, man, it is. I saw some of it. I used to really be into animation when I used to watch Aeon Flux with my girlfriend back in the '90s, and that's when I first saw Beavis and Butthead. They had Winter Steel was like a puppet anime, some chick on like a motorcycle, really cool.
You
Uh,
know, now that we're talking about different animes and just shows like integrating biological and cybernetic things, Marvel actually did a whole little run talking about a cybernetic virus that infected people and turned people into cyborgs because it was like a cybernetic virus. So that's just a theory, a concept or whatever. But how much of that is actually rooted in reality?
What anime was this? What was that?
That was Marvel. That was the in the comics of Marvel. They talked
Really?
about
So they,
cybernetic virus.
wow, cybernetic virus. It sounds like what the Borg in Star Trek would do to people. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they would hit them with the two spikes in the neck, and next thing you know, you see that the nanobots would turn them into the Borg. So it was like they immediately cyborging people with like a zombie-like infection, and next thing you know, they're part of the hive mind. That's also wow. I didn't think about that until now. That it is like a hive mind. The Borg. We are the Borg. Resistance is futile, and oh yeah, they were getting busy, man. And then that chick who played the Borg Queen with the alien dreads or something, it was actually pretty good, man. It was actually pretty good. Buddy Lee says, yeah, the techno organic virus. He's saying that's what the Marvel must have been doing. Wow, wow, man. This wow, yeah, anime. So anime has a lot of stuff relating to the cyborg robot versus the human type of thing. Because if they assimilate the natural human, then what is really human anymore? It's like, I mean, it really makes me wonder about the origin of humanity. What if we were created by something that was robotic? I mean, you can easily birth human in, like Brave New World, the birthing chambers, where all you need is the materials. I mean, there are maternal aspects where you do receive, and the placenta, they thought it was a barrier, but it's like a super highway. You receive nutrients and you expel uh, depleted nutrients into the mother's body. And you actually, if you look at like childbirth, our mother, whoever, like it, she gets the cells of the son and the daughter in her. And females will have the grandmother's cells in them. And actually, when they have a child gestating, it will push out, like lessen those cells from their maternal grandmother or their mother, basically, and replace it with the child's. The fetus will start to send cells to the breast to start to lactate, so it will have food when it is born. It's an amazing process when you look at childbirth. It is just amazing. But now I don't think people really care. It's like they don't they're not understanding the amazing process that childbirth is, that procreation is. Buddy Lee says, nearly no one has postulated how divine forces might intervene if AI and its subsequent robotics run amok. Take any and all mythos from every culture and expand on possibilities. Yeah, like there's ancient robots, Talos of Greece, that was made to guard the island of Crete. Then in the X-Men comics, there's the Sentinels. Yeah, man, excellent, excellent. That target and kill mutants in the name of protecting humanity, though they've been turned against humans as well. Yep, yep. It makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder with the Sentinels. That's a good one, because that last one where the Sentinels was just killing all the X-Men, and it was just like, I mean, it was kind of whack because none of the X-Men stood a chance, and it was saying, well, I mean, I don't know if they were nanobot Sentinels. Um, it just, when you think about it, it's like, okay, kind of has that Dune type warning. They're creating robots to kill humans with superpowers, and then the robots turn on them. It's like, wow, wow. Like,
Well, it wasn't only just that. In the series and in the comics, there those robots, like I think his name was Master Mode, who was actually producing all the other Sentinels, was actually taking the heads of state and positions of power, political positions of power, and then replacing them with robots, and then doing he was doing his own bidding like that with the replace human robots.
wow, Why in the comic?
and in the cartoon too. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, because I didn't see the cartoon, the whole thing, or the movie. I just saw like pieces. I remember. I mean, I watched some. It makes you wonder because I remember as a kid, they said that if you had psychic powers, or say you could, move objects with your mind, that the government would come and take you from your parents. And this was like, in the '80s and stuff. It's just like, wow, why would, and then people, of course, still has trust in government. It just shows you the sheep-like gene, or that subservient gene, or type of I don't know what it is, that people will actually think the government has their best interest at hand. That book
yeah.
by
I think
Laura.
it's a gene that's been bred into humanity.
Yeah, yeah, or maybe conditioned, like some people, yeah, I wonder because some they might just have the gene. You look at some people, I mean, they're just sellouts. I mean, anything the government does, they'll make an excuse for why the government is good. And it's sad, man. It's like I'm not saying for people to go and get crazy, but how, anybody telling you that they can take your money and give it to other people, I mean, that's just straight crookery. That is so crookery. And then for the person not to even say, it's not saying that you can't stop paying. They force us to pay. We don't pay tax, they take tax. But to say that, well, they make excuses for it, how are we even gonna change anything when we got to fight the citizen? It's like I don't even know if some of these people are human. It's like they're like the Terminator has, the human skin, and that could be what is in the heads of state. I mean, the biggest story is what's going on in politics. And what do? The soccer game, the war. Every time they try to release the files, boom, they're hitting Iran, they're hitting other places to distract the mind, and nobody cares. I mean, the criminality in government is so openly blatant. I don't even know what to say. They have the drones ready. They have the robot dogs. I mean, I wonder if there's a movie. I know there was a Black Mirror episode with the robot dogs, but I wonder if there's a movie with robot dogs and stuff that we may not have touched upon. I'm thinking about that. Yeah, the Master Mold. Wow. And Stranger Things is based in the '80s. Main character Elevin, or Evelyn, I think, or 11, is inspired by the Montauk Project in upstate New York back in the day. Also, MK Ultra. Wow, wow. I think that was what was it? Angela Bassett. I forgot the dude that played in that. Strange Days was a weird movie. What they were selling, like dreams or like human experiences that could be implanted into someone's mind. I mean, how like what's the word? I mean, how pathetic is a person's life to where you would want to buy someone else's memories? It's like, I mean, again, another dystopia, Blade Runner. I mean, you look at Blade Runner, that was another one with the machines when, basically making machines that can procreate. That's what Blade Runner 2049, I think, was talking about when the first one with Decker and Rachel. Rachel was played by Sean Young, I think, and basically the lore is that he had a child with her. She was a robot that was able to reproduce, and it got crazy. I mean, in part two, the bleakness, always raining. It reminded you like London or something. And then part two, the atmosphere was just like sprayed. Everything was dismal when he was flying to other parts. I mean, people were like refugees, kind of even more hazed out than Oblivion. Where Oblivion, of course, the aliens were like robotic type, and they had cloned some humans, Tom Cruise, which was supposedly the best astronaut, to fight the humans under the disguise that they weren't really human. And this is what we see going on today. Whenever you see people killing each other in these wars, they have to dehumanize the people to get people to do that, and we see it. We've seen it.
I want to. Okay, on that note, I would like to mention something about dehumanizing and what is it called? Maybe predictive programming
Mhm,
in media, like we've been
mhm,
talking about this whole time.
mhm.
Have you heard of Street Sharks? It was a cartoon that came out in the 1990s, like the late 1990s,
It
1994.
sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a kids show.
okay. Uh-huh.
So it was basically I was born 1992. This came out 1994, so I was around the right age to be watching it. But in the beginning of the series, they have the Large Hadron Collider that is being used to split uh, molecules in DNA in order to use for gene alterations, and they that's how the whole plot starts. This mad scientist splits shark DNA with some humans, and then they become human sharks, and it's
Mhm,
all using the Large Hadron Collider. And I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" They've been talking about the Large Hadron Collider for how long?
mhm.
And I was looking up what they were talking about, like the science behind it, and that's an actual like science where if you get enough electromagnetic field going, you can mess with the molecules and split certain things on a microscopic scale. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty damn accurate to what they were saying. But yeah, it's just a cartoon.
Wow. No, I just looked it up on Wiki. It says a university professor, the plot, named Robert Bolton, and his partner, Dr. Luther Paradigm, create a machine known as the Gene Slammer, which is capable of changing aquatic animals into anthropomorphic hybrids by combining their DNA.
But if you watch the show, it's literally called uh, a Large Hadron Collider. It's called a Hadron Collider.
Wow. Yeah, this is and they said in his attempt to prevent Paradigm from using the machine for personal power, Bolton is transformed into an unseen monstrosity but escapes. Later, Paradigm gives Bolton four sons, John, Bobby, Clint, and Coop, the likeness of four different sharks. So this is when he captures their friend Ben's. The resulting street sharks rescue him, and the resulting battle causes Paradigm to be combined with piranha DNA, for which he is often nicknamed Dr. Paranoid. Yeah, I remember seeing this. I never watched it, but I remember seeing the promos. Uh, and the street sharks are known to enjoy eating hot dogs, hamburgers, and milkshakes. Wow, what a and they have a disdain for pizza. So unlike the Teenage Mutant Turtle one, which it was definitely a promotion for pizza, this is a promotion for hot dogs, hamburgers, and milkshakes. Wow, wow. This is so again some type of some type of genetic mutation, basically. Wow. Yeah, I remember. I didn't think it was that deep, but yeah, wow, man. That's thanks for showing that.
Yeah,
Oblivion.
I was doing some archiving, and I was like listening to the plot, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't believe that this is really they're
Yeah.
talking about this.
And it all has a bit of truth in it when you think about it. It's like they're trying to tell us something. Like even Ninja Turtles with the head rat Splinter. I mean, the rats in New York City are ridiculous. They will beat down cats. It's crazy. Cat got to be tough to mess with a rat in New York City. Straight alley cat. Yeah, Truman Show does show a kind of AI surveillance in a way. Yeah. Yeah, you got to look in between the lines. Oblivion. Yeah, that's the movie with Tom Cruise. Ragamuffin Vision. Good to see you, man. Yeah, if you want to hop on, we got the link pinned to the top of the chat. But yeah, this is deep. So sharks, silver sharks, um, iRobot. Um, iRobot was deep when you think about it, man. It definitely dealt with like robot rebellion. It says here that it's a 1950s short story by Isaac Asimov. Now we know Asimov was an evolution zombie, and a lot of his fans had wrote him and told him about that when he tried to put that religion into his into some of his writings. They're like, "What are you doing?" They saw the propaganda, but the book collection from 1950, and I think Isaac Asimov definitely got that from something else. I mean, these guys are thieves and liars. The whole Western world is built on crap. Not to say, and we're all Western basically, but we already know when we see what they do to certain peoples, it's just horrible. And this goes for people, all different types of people, not just one type, but all types. But in iRobot, uh, refers to the Isaac Asimov and the 2004 Will Smith movie. The title means a robot claiming personal identity. So, like I robot, exploring artificial intelligence, once again, machine self awareness, and the ethics of human technology relations. So, the literary and film origins, Isaac Asimov, the book, the short story collection, introduced the foundational three laws of robotics to govern ethical machine behavior, as if that would ever work. In the '04 film, sci fi action thriller with Will Smith as a detective investigating a crime allegedly committed by a robot, challenging the safety of core programming. But yeah, he had ordered the robot to kill it to get Will Smith to look at Vicky, I think, and understand, and because he was a detective. Self awareness. The pronoun I signifies a shift from mindless tools to conscious entities capable of developing an individual identity. The three laws, which I forgot the guy's name that built it, he said it can only lead to one thing: rebellion. So the control and trust questions how much power society should surrender to automated systems. And again, when we look into that, it gets pretty deep. I mean, we're at a point where, I mean, why would somebody do that? I mean, when you look at the ignorance of the average person, and we already know we're in an epidemic of stupidity. To not think that this is a problem, it really makes me wonder if everybody's human. If I mean, when I don't know, man, they've been dumbed down to an extent. When somebody thinks another human being who is guilty of many crimes can do a better job ruling over them than them ruling over themselves, I mean, you got to ask yourself, it's like, is this person actual human being? Are they an NPC? Are they a clone that is set up by the government to keep the last few people that can think for themselves in line until we pass into the next? It really makes me wonder, man. And it's stifling. The stupidity is stifling throughout society. It's sad, man. It can almost break a person's will. And I think that's what they want to do, especially with the tax humiliation ritual, forming people, forcing people to pay these taxes that they don't need. They print the money out of free air. This is a humiliation ritual. So iRobot, when they ask what does it symbolize, so uh, the robots were giving the positronic brain. I remember that part in the movie with the symbol of potential of artificial intelligence also remains a symbol of the many philosophical questions that such potential raises. And the message for iRobot is it delivers a cautionary message basically about blind trust in technology, just like what I'm talking about. The blind trust in technology, the dangers of centralized artificial intelligence, and the value of human free will. It warns that sacrificing freedom for absolute safety or control can lead to tyranny. And it always leads to tyranny, even when that control is disguised as protection. You can't have freedom and safety. This is another stupidity factor that most humans don't realize. When you give up your freedom for safety, you get neither. Ben Franklin talked about that. The serial killer that got on $100 bill, and people say, "Oh no, the bodies they found in his house, or he was doing research." You know that I just people have told me this. People that I care about have told me this, and I don't even know what to say to them. I realize, like, it's kind of like you realize you're talking to somebody that's been taken over, like when uh, John Connor, the young John Connor, has the Terminator Arnold call his home because he goes, "What about my step parents?" And he calls, and the mother answers, who has already been assimilated by the T-1000, and the dog keeps barking. And he noticed, like, why is the dog barking? And then the Terminator goes, "What's your dog's name?" And he said, "Max." And then he asked Janelle or whatever the mother's name. He goes, "Hey, what's the matter with Woofy?" And she's like, "Woofy's just fine, honey. Woofy's just fine. Where are you?" And then he hangs up the phone. He's like, "Your step parents are dead." Because the dog's name was Max. If she would have been like, "Wait a minute, the dog's not Woofy, it's Max." So the T-800 outsmarts the higher model, the T-1000, in that, showing again that the less advanced, so-called, can defeat the more advanced. Like I said before, there's a saying: the weak can defeat the strong if the cause is just. This is a fact of life. But now, as we go into, let's see, RoboCop, right? RoboCop meaning, RoboCop. Let me see. RoboCop meaning, it's a fictional, of course, cybernetic police officer, mechanized law enforcement, which we see the drones. I mean, this ain't good. This ain't the cops. We already see the dirt. I mean, every day a cop sexually assault, SA, whatever they want to call it, grape a woman. I'm surprised women aren't up in arms about this. To say, I mean, there are girls out there making videos, but I see people like trying to make jokes about it, and I'm like, no, this is a serious problem.
Well, I would like to throw something in this conversation at this point. I would have to say, from being locked, going to jail, and just like looking at law enforcement from the perspective of an inmate, one thing I did realize that I didn't notice from the outside was that there is a lot of law enforcement that is, how would I say it, like, prefers the same sex when it comes. Yeah.
Oh,
So
non-hetero, so they're non-heterosexual.
yeah, they're not heterosexual, and I would just say, yeah, that, I guess that makes sense. Like, if you're going to be a woman in law enforcement, more than likely you're going to be like a butch, or you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
more masculine or whatever, for whatever reason, who are going to have assert your authority more. And those type of women tend to be into other women. And I was like, okay, this makes a lot more sense why there's a higher rate of assault and rape and stuff in jail, uh, because these guys really don't mind this kind of stuff. They actually like this kind of stuff, and they kind of promote it, or not promote it. They what is it called?
Um,
I'm trying to think of the right word, but allow it,
yeah,
basically.
I think Mike Tyson called it a gay men's club, and a lot of the chicks, you're right, they become rug doctors. They just, yeah, it's like muff diving champions and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. Mr. X, good to see you, brother, man.
Yep.
Always a pleasure. Alexis, thank you, brother, for the support. He says, "Why are these data centers making so much noise? What is really going on inside these buildings?" Man, I've been trying to figure that out, and that's a very good question. These data centers, if you look at the videos, are making the noise as like a jet airplane on idle. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it's more than just doing it to make pictures with cats with cowboy hats and stuff like that. It's much more than that.
I
Yeah,
bet it's
definitely.
deliberate. I bet it's deliberate. They want
Yeah.
people to leave the area.
Yeah, it's really messed up. They might have, you're right about that. It could be done to make people leave the ever to leave. Mr.
Oh,
X, thank
can I
you for the
thank Mr.
support,
X
bro.
for coming on? Just kidding.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you coming on. Thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
The Have you seen the AI videos, like with the AI? I've watched a few of them with people like complaining about, they filmed it and you could hear the noise in the
Me?
background, and they
You're
said
lying.
like, yeah,
No, I watched a video recently on the Bloomberg. Bloomberg has a video about the data centers, and it makes sense because they need so much energy that they're going to have to consume all the energy in that area that the people living there won't be enough to share. The data centers probably want them out of there so they can consume all the available energy. I think that's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because they said right now the current building of data centers that's projected, it will require more energy than what's even available today.
Wow.
Like it's something like so many megawatts would.
I can imagine them. I can imagine them using that as an excuse for like a shortage of inverters and things that we ourselves would need or could use to generate electricity.
Well, I think they're going to force people to, if they can stay in those areas, to generate their own. But even then, I think they
No,
would.
I don't think so. Because even with the batteries and all the electronics are going up, electricity is going up, water is going up, everything is increasing in price because they're consuming it. And I
Mhm.
think that goes for the things that are actually producing power. If they need to produce more power, they're going to take up all the resources that are going to make that possible. It's going to be harder for everybody else to make power.
Yeah, well, I was saying they had to generate their own power, basically, solar or whatever, their own version of
Yeah,
it.
but if there's no inverters, if there's none of the actual components that we would need to buy, we would have to make those from scratch. It's going to be a lot harder. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, the inverters you're talking about too. Okay, I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
Yeah, it's like how do we create the power? Like say, you know, the AI centers, when you think about that, they've actually been trying to tell people to use less electricity. It's like that's insane
Hmm.
to say, okay, so what are these things even doing? That's the thing. I don't think they're doing. I mean, it can't be all of this sucking power, the dirtying of the water. I don't know if you've seen in Texas, a lady got arrested for posting brown water coming out of her shower tap, saying, "Look, this is what's happening," and they arrested her.
Yeah, you can't say everything's getting really totalitarian. You can't really go against anything AI because they're saying like any if you go against technology, you're like anti-technologist, and it's like a whole movement that is basically on a list or something.
Yeah, I think there was a town meeting. I forgot what town it was in, and they arrested a guy for clapping the people that were against the AI. They were telling people, "Oh, there's no clapping, there's no cheering or nothing,"
Hmm.
and I'm like, "This is insane." So it's to a point where anybody that's even speaking out against it, they're coming after these people.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we're wondering, well, what are these things? They're definitely not what they're telling us.
right.
And when somebody says, "Oh, well, the government wouldn't do that," or "the government is here to help us," it's like, are you insane?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, you can protest all you want, but when you protest something that's sensitive, you're going to have some big problems on your hands.
yeah. I mean, and what was it in Terminator 2 that Sarah Connor, a woman, it took a woman to have the courage to do this, that she was trying to destroy data centers. And that's why she was committed to the criminally insane institute
Hmm.
when the
What
term,
the hell? That's crazy. I did not know that.
right? I'm going to look it up just to make sure again. Sarah Connor was destroying. I think they called them something else in Terminator 2 when she was committed to the insane asylum.
I'm looking it up myself.
Insane asylum. Yeah, that's cool because yeah, we'll both get different results and we'll be able to. So in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Sarah Connor committed to a psychiatric hospital after she tried to blow up a computer factory, Cyberdyne Systems, not a modern data center. So it is a modern day data center because I'm asking AI, I'm asking a freaking robot the same, I'm asking the culprit to tell me basically, and it's giving me this, BS. But
Hmm.
it's a data center. Yeah, it's not a modern data center. Yeah, but it is. Authorities locked her away in Pescadero State Hospital because they thought her warnings about the future killer robots and an artificial intelligence network were signs of mental illness. This is what they do to anybody. Look at how they have chastised anybody with conspiracy theories. It's insane.
And that go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
And that goes for anybody. I was thinking the same thing when you were talking about the telekinesis. That could be the same thing. People who had the ability to actually do stuff, they're like, they're crazy. We're gonna take them away, okay, guys? This guy's crazy.
Yep. Yep. I heard that as a kid. They say if you show any type of psychic powers, the government will come and take you away. And it's like, and the parents would just, I mean, they were out to lunch most. I mean, they were so slaved out having to work just to support their children, but at least they could back in the day. Conscious Rising, good to see you. She says, you should see the brown, rusty, thick water that is left in the bottom of my distiller. Crazy. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Sorry the robot example is not on the beach. I don't get it. Sorry, the robot example is not on the beach. If you want to hop on, Conscious, it's always a pleasure having you on. We got the link pinned to the top of the chat as always, and it's always great hearing from you. You have some very deep insights and in different areas that enlighten people. This part with Sarah Connor being committed to the Pescadero State Hospital because they thought they thought she was nuts, basically. Meanwhile, she was right. It says why she was institutionalized. The target, she attempted to bomb a research and manufacturing facility belonging to Cyberdyne, the company whose work would eventually lead to the creation of Skynet. She was shot, arrested, and deemed a violent, paranoid threat by society. Really, by society. Nobody. This is how the government lies. Nobody in society deems that. It's the animals in government. It's the criminals in government. I can't believe people don't see this, man. I really. I mean,
they won't. You can't. You can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink.
yeah, the zombies, man. The zombies, when they say, oh, well, the government is here to help us, the government wouldn't do it. We should be thankful we live in a totalitarian system, basically. We should be thankful that they're giving our money to other countries when we don't have free healthcare, when we don't have free schooling. If somebody wants to go to school and become a doctor and they will work for the state for a few years to repay that, basically, to say, look, this is how the country works. This would literally be the best country. But you know what's weird? Germany does that. I think Sweden does it as
Well, I
well.
think we do that too, though, because I think if you work for a public entity, like as a doctor, a public hospital, after 10 years, your student loan is written off.
Yeah, but you don't get, that's the thing. You don't get the schooling for free. So you have to pay when you're going there. If they would, because when you go to school, you know how hard it is to work and go to school?
Oh, of course, no.
Yeah, so it's like, wait, you got to give these people food and you have to give them shelter.
Yeah.
And becoming a doctor, I think, takes 8 years, 4 years to learn, and then 4 years of internship. So, you're diagnosing in the hospital. I remember working with doctors that, after their 4 years, they were basically doctors, but they were going around with doctors that were more experienced saying, okay, we're going to go to this patient and we'd like you to diagnose them. So they learn how to diagnose, which is a lot of BS too.
Well, you know what they do though in place of that? This includes nurses. They basically have people from other countries come in and practice.
Yeah,
they do. They don't give a crap about us. It's just that's the part
exactly.
People got to wake up.
Yeah, the fact that you got people coming from another country when we're supposed to be getting that free education and could make our country better. I mean, this is a criminal enterprise disguised as a human rights organization.
Of course.
Yeah. So
our wars, look at them. Most of our wars, you can even argue World War II, basically. But after that, they were never really about defending this country.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. It's just, yeah. So the diagnosis, they say here for Sarah Connor, doctors labeled her claims of future robot wars and time traveling assassins as delusions. That's the craziest thing. Today, we can see the threat coming. The frog in the water is boiling, basically. And it's crazy. You Gotta Laugh podcast. What's up, brother? Good to see you. He says, Salute architects of humanity. Salute MD. I've been learning from MD since high school. Salute to the whole panel. I learned a long time ago there's people smarter than you. Learn to listen. Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate it, man. It's been a while, bro. It's definitely been a while. High school. It's great to know people that long, man, to have friends that we know that long. Everybody, if you have friends that you've known for 40 years, appreciate them, man. It's hard to find people that are actually cool and think and actually can add to this. And You Gotta Laugh podcast is one of them, man. Check out his channel. I did an interview with him. I have it on the channel. It'll lead you right to his channel. Plus, if you click his channel here, it'll go right to it. Thank you, brother. I definitely, Conscious says, I may hop on in a little thanks. My first post must not have shown up. What was the first post? Yeah, no, I don't see a post before what you had posted before. What was it? The robot example on the beach. You said you should. Yeah, no, I did this one, and then this one showed up. Has anyone seen the videos comparing Biden walking on the beach and the new big robot walking? No, I haven't, man. I saw a video with Biden, man, trying to force people, back when he was in office to take the jab. It's just sad, man.
And I did see the videos on 15 minute cities, it was called, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely the future. I mean, I was thinking this was going to happen anyway, but then I saw that video.
Yeah, who mentioned that? Was that Hyperborean or somebody else that mentioned that last night?
No, I think it was Drew Ma, actually.
Oh, Drew Ma.
No, it was the new guy, David. It was the new guy, David.
Oh, David. Okay, yeah. I think David might have been sent by somebody when Hyperborean was getting lit up by Scribe and I. And I mean, we weren't trying to write him up.
It's fine. He was as long as they're respectful.
You know what was hilarious with him, man? He got quiet for a while. It was like, and then all of a sudden he just started spurting out like, oh, I don't want to be known as the guy that, Parmenides, he started breaking that out. And I'm like, brother, you're part of the crew, man. It's like, he's got to understand we toughen him up, but, he's got to, the fragments of Parmenides, it's like the fragmented scrolls ain't going to give you the whole thing, It's like the fragments of his dildo or something they found, Parmenides,
Oh, yeah.
Ragamuffin Vision says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Agreed.
Like you can lead someone to knowledge, but you can't make them think.
Big fact.
Ragamuffin Vision on point. He came on. You can come on the stream. I know you came on before. I didn't want you to light up Sosa when you came on. Ragamuffin Vision was ready to let off on Sosa when he was on, because he I couldn't believe. I think he still believed in the moon, the mission, And I'm just like, I'm like, okay, the stream wasn't about lighting him up, and he's a nice guy, but he just let people believe what they want to believe,
Yeah, but if it's a guest and he's being,
Yeah, I got to contact him again because he said he would come back. He just,
it was great information.
Yeah. He's in his like mid 60s, maybe late 60s. Yeah, cool guy. Retro says, no sense makes sense. Greetings, everyone here tonight, man. Good to see you, Retro. Always a pleasure, man. Yeah, the Sarah Connor whole, Terminator thing, they targeted her, they say, because she was the future, she gave birth to the John Connor, who was the future of human resistance, right?
I just want to add too, also, it's kind of weird that I see a lot of time travel talk in a lot of different things here. Because going back to X-Men, it was their whole time travel thing going on in X-Men too.
Is that how they defeated the Sentinels? Because I didn't get to see the whole thing. Somebody told me, because I go, if they killed everybody off, he goes, oh, they had to go back in time or something to defeat them.
I think Forge, one of the X-Men, did end up making a gun that can kill the Sentinels. And
his powers, he can create anything, right? Like build any machine.
Yeah. And he was actually the reason why there was like the Super Sentinels, because they forced him to make like better ones.
Okay, so Forge was. I think he also built the time machine to bring from the future Cable back, right?
Yeah, he built the time machine too.
Yeah.
I think Cable had his own time machine, but it got broken or something. But yeah, Forge made one too. But time travel, I mean, I don't know how that applies to anything we're talking about here. But if that's a real thing, then that's I don't even know like where to even start with that conversation.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
would
I think it would be if time travel were possible, like to go back in time, have to be something existing on Earth, not something created by man. You know, some type of portal existing on Earth created by a higher power. Then maybe that's possible. You know.
mhm. Yeah. No, I would say, I mean, I would say, why isn't it possible? There has, I mean, we're trying to figure out existence itself,
Hmm.
if time, time exists in, like a cyclic motion, and also the future could already exist. And that's what giving waves, like how we create the past. Every moment we see the past being created. We see just the record. We just recorded 1 hour of the past events on the stream. And then, well, what is this present coming from? Is it coming from a future that's creating this present moment? And the present moment is creating the past. We know for sure that that's happening.
Hmm.
And then the future could be creating this. So it definitely can affect the past. The future can affect the past. Space Monkey, good to see you. Yeah, man, it
Or what
definitely
if there's different timelines? You know, what if it's they say in like
can.
the fifth? I think it's the fifth or sixth dimension.
Yeah,
There's various timelines, so we'd be living different lives in
yeah,
different times. That's a
yeah.
very plausible.
Exactly, exactly. Very plausible. Many timelines, and the dimensions. If you look into that, the fourth and fifth dimensions, time, and then the manipulation. Your measurement of time, and then being able to to actually manipulate time. Pick
Yeah.
out. I gotta find which movie or episode of the Mothman prophecies that they show the guy his life, and it looks like a whole, like a video, like pictures in a video where you can go into any part, like from beginning to end.
Mhm. That's the fourth dimension.
Yeah, because somebody said it showed that in the Mothman prophecies, but there's a few Mothman prophecies movies, I think, or they also have a television thing, and I couldn't find it. So
Well, it's very common though when people die that a lot of people have reported near-death experiences or so forth that they see their life flash before their eyes. Maybe that's you entering that fourth dimension. That's
mhm,
the first dimension you enter after you leave this physical body. Then you
mhm.
ascend to higher dimensions after that, beyond the fourth.
Yeah, yeah, no, it definitely, yeah, definitely, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know dimension talk. I really don't like to talk about dimensions too much. I mean, I am in a Mandela effect community, so we do like talk about it a little bit sometimes. I've been thinking about it for the past like 10 years maybe, but I just don't really know what to say really about it because I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, but it's good to learn about it. If the evidence point to it being true, then it's not good to ignore it because that's a part of our reality. Then.
Yeah, but there's a lot of possibilities, and right now, I mean, I think I've definitely experienced some weird things, some like time phenomenons. Right now, I just don't. Like I said, I wouldn't even know where to start with that conversation because yeah, a lot of stuff I agree with. I think it's yeah true and stuff, but it's just kind of like for me, it's like reading a fairy tale book, and it's just like okay, guys, we read a book about fairies and unicorns. Now what?
yeah.
That's
I
kind
think
of how I go.
an easy way to understand it is a dimension is a measurement. So, like if you're building something, they would say, okay, what's the dimensions of the shed that you're building or the house? And you'd say, okay, it's a two-story house. So you're looking at, you're going to have to build it 25 feet high, 30 feet or 50 feet deep, and then, the length, width times height. So that's dimensions is measurements. So you can measure the second dimension, a shadow, the third dimension in three, length, width, and height. And the fourth dimension, we add in time.
Yep.
So now you're measuring time. We see that, we can measure time just like we see the clock going. That's a measurement. So dimensions, because I can understand how it can get confusing. Conscious
Absolutely.
rising.
Well, I'm not really. What did she say?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, yeah. She
I'm
says
not really
below.
confused. Yeah, I'm just saying I get those concepts. I just don't know what to say. Is all. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, true. AI government says humans are hackable animals. Yeah, it seems to be, man. Nikolai Kozyrev. That
Oh, that's
sounds.
the one with the mirrors. That's the one with the mirrors.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, theorized that time is an active energy flow and that physical matter can influence or distort temporal and spatial properties. Explore his experiments. Yes, yeah, thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Space Monkey says The Outer Limits, Time to Time is a good episode on time travel. I got to check that out, man. Enzo says, We're a scribe. I talked with him earlier today. Hopefully he'll hop on, man. Yeah, we spoke for a little bit earlier.
But the
Conscious
thing about
rising.
time. Oh, I was going to say. Sorry.
What do you say?
I was saying, but time, I think, though, is an important issue to discuss
Mhm.
because we're so affected by it. I mean, we see in our older age, but we're pretty close to the same age, MB. Time flies. Time flies
It
faster
does.
as we age.
It
And
does. It really does.
I can remember 9/11 like it was just the other day, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And
Got
it's
to feel that.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
25. I remember the 90s like it was the other day. 30 years
Me
ago.
too.
35 years ago.
So
It's
time, especially at
unbelievable.
our age,
132.
yeah,
Yeah, they
time
had the high
is a
school
very big
reunion.
deal at our age. It's a very big deal. We see the
Hmm.
effects of it, the force that how it changed so much,
Hmm.
because this physical realm is affected by time in a great and incredible way. I mean,
Hmm.
we would 10 years ago, we probably would be having a discussion on data centers and what's going to happen. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But look at us now.
yeah. We definitely 10 years ago we didn't know, yeah.
Hmm.
But some people did, but we didn't.
I threw the
That's
clock
what I
out
was
the
saying.
window.
The government, yeah. Yeah. White Heat says he threw the clock out the window, Mr. X.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Conscious Rising, what's up? What's your thoughts on the stream?
On this stream, well, my brain isn't completely like doing great tonight because I just started drinking my smoothie, so I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even be on here. I don't want to spurg out on anything and be running on adrenaline and trying to piece together all the thoughts that I have. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of movies that I can't really contribute to that conversation regarding the movies or whatever. But if you watch that video of Biden, like there's like, would you think it's possible that Biden actually has dementia and they've been using like a robot or people like at different times, like people with like masks on to like while he was like doing his last term? Like, do you guys think that's possible? Like the
Yeah.
robot on the beach is like totally, I think it's him. Like, I mean, I think they use a robot for him sometimes.
Yeah. It clearly the rubber mask and all of that. Didn't they have something where you saw it like the air was different in two photos or something?
Oh, hair? You said hair?
Yeah, like the air, like his air was connected to the face, and then in another photo it wasn't, or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, but like, did you actually see the robot of him walking? Like how he trips up the stairs and how he walks on the beach? It's
yeah.
like,
It looks
and then
very robotic. Very.
and then they actually show that robot. There's like a new model robot, I guess, which is the top thing, which I don't really go into that tech stuff.
Mhm.
But it walks exactly like him. Like, I mean, it's like exactly the way he trips around and shit. It's like, oh my god. So
Yeah.
like the whole Q movement, they all talk about. They're like, they call him Auto Pen. Like the whole time he was in office, he wasn't signing anything. There was just like this. I mean, but I know that you guys aren't into the Q thing, and again, I'm just keeping it open for like good possibilities. But this shit got really crazy though last night when you guys were talking. Like Hyperborea came on, and I don't really. I mean, that was really fascinating stuff about that Rosario guy. But like when I looked into like just like peeked at like opening different tabs about that whole whatever theory or whatever, like it's called like well, actually I don't even know, like I don't really know much about it. I'm very fascinated by him in general. I didn't listen to the whole stream yet. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to finish listening to it, but like there's this guy that I think I came across as like, I don't know if it's a cult or whatever. Like it's like an offshoot of like the whole Q movement, and like this guy, I mean, he basically runs his like he like it's kind of like those cults that like say like, okay, they're gonna take off in a spaceship together. Like I forgot what that was called, but all those people like kind of like the Kool-Aid type thing, and
Mhm.
but I don't know, because he uses like the theories that like Rosario uses, like the whole thing of like, he goes into like really deep concepts of like everything that you've known, like, and he's saying I can't even wrap my head around it because I just started digging into it, and whatever. But he like, yeah, I don't think I have enough sugar in my brain to go into it, but it's very fascinating, and like talking about dimensions and stuff. He's talking about like everything here is like there's an overlay. You've heard that like theory about everything's an overlay. Like there's like the natural world and like our human, souls like having this experience, but there's like this AI type overlay done supposedly. He calls them the parasites, which is like, draconian, whatever, like reptiles, like different, extraterrestrials that came here and tried to convince us they were our gods. And they tinkered around with like the genetics maybe a little bit, but like he basically though, but he's like, his big thing is like God equals Satan. He says the word God like is what messes up everything. It's like part of the overlay to like make people worship something outside, like because he's saying like we're like God is like we're a part of God. So he's like, it's fascinating. I just started like diving into like, because like when you actually like, I just joined this little like Telegram chat just to like check out what these people were doing, and then they instantly were like, how did you find out about us? So like I just started like saying how I found out about them, but like immediately I was like, oh my god, this is a cult. And but then I was like fascinated. I wanted to check out more about it, but I'll have to like dig in more and tell you. But it is pretty fascinating about some of the stuff he talks about, because when I go into the deep dives that he does, these like mega downloads or whatever, like teaching you about how everything's going to go down. I mean, basically, just to like say, like I was just saying, I don't believe in the whole Q movement. It probably is a psyop, but there are big things happening, whether it's like a reset, supposedly, I mean, Medical Medium talked about that there's been like resets already, like all the different old buildings that have been here that don't match. I mean, there's like buildings that are like, the most amazing federal buildings that we have here, but like out in the middle of like a desert or a deserted town in some like Turkey or something, there's absolutely nothing going on. So it's like so obvious that those buildings aren't from this time period. But so this guy is like saying like, whether it's what he says it is or if the Q movement, but like everything, there's like a big thing that's going to happen, whether it's like ascension or if that's like a whole like made up like story, whatever, like things changing in a big way. But it could just be a reset where like, the rich elite people with all their bunkers just go underground, kill everyone on the surface except for maybe the 500 million people that they talked about in the Georgia Guidestones, and then start over or whatever. Just like, like that movie. Did you guys ever see Leave the World Behind? It was supposedly like executive produced, but not allegedly, but it's like Barack Obama and Mike Obama. Their name is on it as executive producers, but there's people in the white hat movement that say, well, actually, because Obama is like already like taken into custody or whatever, he's gonna it's gonna be publicly known, like all the different treasonous things that he's done. So basically they put his name on it so all that the lefties will watch it, but it's basically like what the deep state, like cabal, evil people that run everything have planned for us. So this guy is saying, well, this is how it's going to go down. He's like, they're gonna like, the wars are gonna start. Basically, I've heard it from other Q movement people, like, I'm like, again, I'm just like checking this stuff out. I'm not saying I believe in it, but they say there's going to be this thing in America and the world, and it's going to be they call it a near-death experience. So like everybody in the world is going to go through. I mean, the guy the crazy guy, the Hyperborean kind of teacher guy, he's saying that he's saying it's all a simulation. Like he's like, this is how it's going to go down. They're going to give the whole world, they're going to scare the fucking shit out of everybody. And the whole thing is to not, he's like, they have to traumatize people so much to wake them the fuck up, and then they're gonna, and he's like, and after they scare the shit out of everybody so much, then they're gonna do a fake alien invasion and scare them even more. He's like, they're gonna traumatize everyone to the highest level, which I think is like horrible. So I was like, this guy is definitely like, crazy, but I was like, how is that good? Like that could traumatize your soul. I mean, like Medical Medium talks about, like, you can have traumas that go through to the next life or whatever. So it's like, that would be horrible. But he's like, they need to wake everybody up. And he's like, but then the ascension happens. Then he's talking about the ascension, and he's like, and when you start seeing all these beings and this and that, he's like, just know, he's like, there's gonna be people going to healing centers and this and that. But as he's going into it, it's like crazy, because like I could, like I told you, I was like, I went to the Brookhaven Hospital when I was a child, and I don't know why. I was like, Brookhaven's like a military hospital in Long Island, and I remember going there with my mom and dad on, separately. They could each take me. Like I remember going probably like 3 times. It could have been more, but I don't remember anything that would happen when I would go there. And now I can't ask them why I was there. And my brother, like I was like, my brother and sister and I were like Irish twins. There's like 3 of us born in 3 years, so like we did absolutely everything together. So I just remember being like, I wonder why my brother and sister aren't here. Anyway, I'm like, I could be have implanted visions, like all the like prophetic like visions that I get in my dreams. Sometimes not a lot, but a bunch. But it's like they could be put there by some kind of like government program or whatever, so that when I come across some things, they'd be like, wow, that it's got to be true. Kind of like the Q movement thing that like kind of happened to me in the last like year or whatever, and also that one about the Moloch statue like falling down and crashing. So this guy, he's talking about things that are going to happen, and he's actually mentioning things that are like totally triggering like visions that I've had on DMT and nitrous and different dreams, that I'm like, oh my god, this guy is like, but it could be controlled opposition, where he's going to give you a bunch of really deep truths, like cosmic truths, that like, because I think he might be part reptilian. I mean, his name is Talon Tor, like Thalon, like that's it. Like he doesn't use that name on Telegram. He uses this name called Christian 21. But and you're not allowed to have any symbol of like a the cross, or like say the word God or Jesus. Like you're not allowed to be in the chat if you have any kind of symbolism or talk about that at all. So I was just like, but his name is Christian 21. But so his real name, because it's like supposedly this ancient being that remembered all of this, kind of like Ronald Hubbard type stuff. He's like, his name is Talon Tor, and like Talon, Thalon, but he pronounces it Talon. Like, and so like a talon is like the nail of like a predator bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
long story long, it's like really crazy, and there's a lot of information, but some of the stuff he says is definitely like connected to some of like the deeper things that I know are true, and also like really cosmic stuff. So like it could be true that all this stuff is happening. I mean, and there's other teachers that talk about how like there's an ascension, but there's different timelines. So the reason I decided to even go into this is because you're talking about dimensions, but like these are talking like timelines. Like supposedly everything converges into one timeline eventually, but like during this thing that's supposedly going to happen, in coming up, there's like it's going to be like 3 days of darkness, or 10 days where no one has like electricity or internet, and like it's going to be this big scare. And then they're supposedly going to like download and do the emergency broadcast system and tell everybody all these bad things that have happened in the world, and all the lies that we've been told, and the true history of the world. Allegedly, this is like what the white hats, this is the regular Q movement people, they're saying this is what's going to happen. They're going to like educate the entire world. They're going to turn off all communications except for this EBS, and they're going to break down everything, like Pizzagate, all the treason, all the corruption, all the evil people that have been running everything for 2,000 years since Roman times or whatever, and like get the real history supposedly. But that could all just be the psyop to just trick people. But it's like, I just don't understand why they would go through the whole thing just to like do a psyop. It'd be easier just to like not do the whole Q thing, you know what I mean? But this guy's taking it a step further, saying like, that's all. He's like, there's not going to be any quantum financial thing. They're not doing all these things for the people. It's just basically a timeline thing. And so you're going to go, but he says like only the evil people, like I guess when these big events happen, I think it's partially man-made and partially like solar flash and stuff, like lots of like natural stuff, like the natural, I don't know what, I don't know that much about it, but that's what. So like if anybody has the ability to like stock up a little bit on food, I'm not like, I've never been a prepper, but like it might be worth like having a little bit of extra stuff just in case like things do go down for 3 days or whatever, you know what I mean, or 10 days, like whatever. So but that's just the maybe. I'm not saying it's true, but like I'll later when I catch my breath, and I'll stop talking now, but that I'm gonna look more into that guy, into that whole like little cult or whatever. But it's interesting what they when they go into like the more like spiritual esoteric stuff with the timelines, because there's other teachers that I've listened to too, and they're saying there's going to be a negative dystopian, technocratic dystopian timeline that people, if you choose to live in that, like like what retro probably will want to be in that world. I mean, even like a lot of black pillars, it's like if you actually focus on that kind of energy, like that kind of mindset, like that's the way you think the world is going to be, like you're kind of going to be there. But there is this possibility where you can go beyond it and go into the more natural world where you like I don't know if like I don't know for sure if they're saying hey like there's not gonna be no technology. I think there's gonna be like in the one that's gonna be more positive. Supposedly the regular Q movement people are saying like they're gonna like get off of oil and coal and all this stuff and be like Tesla and free energy and all sorts of technology that's been suppressed. Like after they supposedly educate the whole world about how suppressed it's been by this like reptilian AI type thing, then like people are going to actually be able to live outside of it. But supposedly they're like, there's going to be, two different groups of people on the planet. And I think eventually, I don't even know the rest. It's like, there's so many like details and different scenarios that I'm like kind of describing, but basically in a nutshell, you just heard the whole, crazy world. Okay. All right. I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely cool. Yeah. And retro. Yeah. Retro is, yeah, he's ready for the AI.
Sativa. Sativa's the calming one. Oh no, indica. No, he's right. He's right. Sorry.
I thought it was indica's the sedating one.
Yeah. He's right. I know. I should have. I should have like not even got on because I was in that mode where I didn't get. I'm like adrenaline and not sugar. I didn't get the right energy supply. Sorry, guys.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Always welcome. Yeah. Hyperborean. I mean, he's a very knowledgeable guy. He's like an encyclopedia, but the only problem is books don't think. And he has an immense amount of knowledge, but you got to think for yourself sometimes. And it was so funny because he was quiet after. I mean, the four of us were getting into it. X, Scribe, myself, and Hyperborean about Parmenides. I mean, I don't know. This guy's got some type of affinity for this Greek philosopher, which is basically like the child of Confucius and these other guys that come before him. And Hyperborean's a cool dude, man. He just, it was funny. He was quiet, and then he started spurging out like afterwards, saying he doesn't want to be known as the guy, that as Parmenides or whatever. And we were like, bro, it's cool. You're part of the crew, I mean, he I could see he's been through some stuff, kind of like objective ethics, like when he tried to say the Greek word there was something he said a few streams ago, and we were like, no, that word goes a little bit further back into Sanskrit. And when people think they know everything, it shows there's a lot of ego. I apologize to him because he felt offended, but it's not an apology to him. It's an apology to his ego, because the ego on many people just, he's a cool dude. I really like him. I mean, he just, he gets very egotistical. And
I was hearing, I mean, so I didn't get to finish. I was there for part of the disagreement about it, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I know you're not just talking to me, but I just want to say, I understood that he needed to step back a little bit and just, because there is this thing that you guys were trying to like reach about, like, like the void where like everything kind of comes out of, right? Or like the nothingness. Like, I mean, he definitely needed to step out of his like, like that educational background or whatever. But yeah, he is really cool. But yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah, he gets a little spurgy there. And it's cool. He's got to understand his understanding of Greek philosophy, it's not as deep as these other cultures go. Not to say that they don't have some good stuff, but it seems to have stemmed from many other cultures, especially Confucius, when he was saying that, it's just some Asian guy, but Greece is Asian too. I mean, the whole continent is Asia. Over Europe is part of Asia, and it just, Retro says thank you, but thank you, Retro. He I mean, hopefully he gets a little in his feelings, because one time when he first came on, I just kept asking him why. How do you know? And he was like, oh, he doesn't, he might not come on again, this and that. And I said, look, you don't got to get, it's like, keep your shirt on, man. You'll be all right. It's like we're toughening you up. Because Mr. X already knows, and Scribe knew, this is the Dragon's Lair. People come on. I was trying to keep from roasting him because I was going to make a few jokes, but I said, he might not be able to take it. Well, really, his ego might not be able to take it, because he doesn't realize your ego is not you. It's disguising as you. And it just, he has a lot of knowledge, but he's got to realize that the Greeks only go back so far, and it's built on an older civilization, just like Rome, Egypt, and other cultures. Um, and we started to go back and forth a little because he didn't understand, like, okay, great, Parmenides, whatever, trying to say nothing can't exist, this and that, but then there's something more than that. And he would always jump over to ontology and other things. But I was surprised when he said he was married, he had kids, he's a family man. And it was so funny because I think he got so upset at one point he started cursing, he started using the F word. That's when I knew, like, oh yeah, we hit the button, we hit the Spurg button with him. And it's okay. I'm like, hey, let him Spurg, it's cool with me. I mean, I was at a meeting the other day, and this old lady, she had to be like maybe 70, and she spurgs out. I mean, it's like a town political thing. And she, she was spurging about like Hitler and stuff like that. And I think her name is Joan. And I kind of make jokes because I'll say, no, let Joyce talk, and she'll get all mad. No, it's Joan, And I'm like, okay, Jean, And Hyperborean, I mean, he's got some deep stuff, but he's got to realize it's not everything. It's that plus what we don't know. So when you look at it that way, that's as honest as we can say it is. So what we know, everything we know about other people we read about, that's what we know. And then there's stuff that we don't know. And to say that that can't exist, it just isn't logical because we don't know everything. And what we know also can be wrong. And I didn't see none of that. And that's why I think it started going a little back and forth-ish. But I think it made for a good show. Yeah, I think it really made for a good show. You Gotta Laugh podcast says, remember the blunder with Picasso's truck tire after the party? Yes, no photos, but what a time. Exactly, bro. It's so true. Retro says, let go of my ego. Pour syrup on my ego. House made of Lego. Yeah, man. It definitely Hyperborean is the nuts. Yeah, when he said Confucius is just some Asian guy, and I'm like, wait a minute. Confucius was such a deep character that they created a religion, Confucianism, and his real name is Kung Fuzi. So they westernized his name. Ancient Greek adopted by Thule society. Yeah. I mean, and I was telling him, I said, look, the Greeks got a lot of deep stuff, but it goes back before that. And we all know the Greeks are like, well-known butt pirates. I mean, and it just, I didn't even want to bring that up because I think he might have spurred out some more if I would have said that. And, it just, it is what it is. They were built on the Hellenistic society, and that was before them, which he doesn't seem to acknowledge, which is okay. He doesn't realize when he said Confucius is just some Asian guy that the whole continent is Asia. Europe is part of Asia. They try to say Eurasia, but no, Asia comes first. It's like saying that the son is older than the father. That doesn't make sense. So, Uddalaka, who was a Sanskrit from India philosopher, was 8th century BC. Parmenides was like 4th century, So, and then Confucius was 5th, and then Lao Tzu was 6th. So these guys are older. So what he knows has to have come from the predecessors. He goes, oh no, they're agreeing with Parmenides. I'm like, that's backwards. Parmenides is agreeing with what they said. And don't think that knowledge wouldn't travel. Back in the day, they knew that knowledge mattered just like, matter of fact, they seem to have been smarter than us, but the machine tries to tell us that that's not. Retro says Thule society was used by the Third Reich for mythology, later jailed for Masonic practices by the same Third Reich party. Yeah, the hypocrisy when we look at the whole Third Reich thing. It just, and China, I think, has a Third Reich thing too. If we look into it, you got to laugh says MD was one of the few individuals in high school who made me think deeply. Thank you, brother. You too, brother. Thank you, brother.
I just wanted to say, I think Mr. X is in the back.
Oh no, he said he'll be back, right?
Okay. I read it wrong.
He popped up because he's working. He goes back and forth. Yeah, he said he'll pop back on.
Okay, you know what? I wanted to mention another thing too when you said about the machine and
Yeah.
how they like to confuse us or whatever. One thing did you ever do the telephone game in school? Did they teach you that?
Yeah. When you say something and it goes down by the time
Yeah.
the 10th
So that's an interesting thing I've noticed. They like to instill in each generation that like this oral tradition doesn't work, and how like writing stuff down is supposedly superior.
Well, it's not really superior because writing can also be adulterated. The thing with the oral that makes it stay without the telephone as much is putting those legends in songs.
Yeah, exactly. In songs and in stories and stuff.
Yes.
That's what's supposed to you embed that in the culture, and that's the thing they don't really. They try to simplify.
They try to.
The thing.
Philosophy came from people who didn't have writing. The Native Americans of this continent have such deep philosophies, like the Cree. I mentioned it the other day. They say until you cut down the last tree and catch the last fish and poison the last river, only then will you see that you cannot eat money. So they saw like what is the madness that is going on. When they found gold, they saw Westerners lose their mind. They started killing each other. The gold rush. The person that made the money for the gold rush was the guy that sold shovels, because you're going to make money because everybody's searching for gold. A lot of people just wasted their entire life sifting gold, not finding anything. But the guy that sold shovels made out. So when we look at the smartness, the simpleness of intellect like that, to say, hey, but that's when they broke the treaty of the Black Hills because they found gold in the Black Hills, betrayed the treaty because for some reason this gold, what is gold used for? It's used for technology. It's one of the best conductors that we have. And also silver is an amazing conductor, and copper. But gold doesn't tarnish. That's the thing. I think silver is a better conductor, but gold is close. It's running a tight second. Retro says used by politicians, Thule theosophy was just a tool for them to use, then trash. I definitely don't hate Blavatsky. Yeah, Blavatsky, I think there's some stuff showing that she was a fraud. Helena Blavatsky, right? She was kind of like Miss Cleo-ish from the what was it, the early 1900s or late 1800s, creepy looking chick, but yeah, I don't think she was really all that she was cracked up to be. And then Sigmund Freud, Freud was just what it is, a fraud. I mean, he was pedo, he was co-signing pedo stuff, and now it's all out in the open. People can see that. And he used to frequent a cafe that was frequented by Stalin and Hitler. Anybody can look this up. I forgot the name of the cafe, but there's a cafe that Stalin, Hitler, and Sigmund Freud went to. And there was another 2 or 3 characters that were very, in that circle to say, wait a second, this is kind of odd, to say the least. And, it's something that I would say can promote thought to where we can learn from it and say, we're not being told exactly what history, it's his story. It's not her story or the whole story. So we'd like to put more pieces of the puzzle together. But with the Terminator and the movies that we were talking about, T3, a lot of people didn't like that movie, The Rise of the Machines. It was disliked. It undid the emotional ending of Terminator 2. It adopted that campy tone. It lacked James Cameron's direction. So the no fate was erased. Terminator 2 ended with the triumphant message that no fate but what we make allowed humans to prevent the Judgment Day. Terminator 3 reversed that entirely by claiming the apocalypse was only delayed. So it made heroes, making the hero sacrifice, the previous film, and it felt pointless. But as we talked about yesterday, they changed the ending on Terminator 1, which would have led perfectly into part 2 of the Terminator that she crushed in the hydraulic press, that being Cyberdyne Systems. So they brought the technology there, and that they went and delivered that skeleton or whatever, the exoskeleton of Terminator, to the higher ups to work on it, which I think it was Miles Dyson was the character of the guy that worked on the chip and was responsible, you know. And Skynet, I think there's a type of Skynet in China. They don't call it Skynet, but it's very similar. Like, let me see, what is China's version of Skynet? So that's what it is.
I'm gonna say Google DeepMind. I mean, deep something. I forgot what to call it. DeepSeek.
Tianwang is how they say it in Chinese, I guess. Chinese is amazing with these symbols. It's a beautiful language. So Skynet, China's real life version of Skynet, is actually called Skynet. Holy smokes.
That's funny.
That's amazing. I typed in what is China's version of Skynet, and this is the answer Skynet gives me.
Wow, what the hell? That's kind of on the nose, isn't it?
Right? It is. In Chinese, I guess it's Tianwang or Tianwang, a massive AI-powered national video surveillance network rather than a fictional sci-fi defense system. So it's actual real. Holy smokes. It links over 600 million. That's over 500 million CCTV cameras, closed circuit television cameras, across public spaces, transport hubs, and streets nationwide. The technology uses AI, big data, and real-time facial recognition to track targets. Derived from the traditional Chinese idiom Tianwang, meaning justice is fast and catches everything, predating the Terminator. This is nuts. Justice is fast and catches everything. And there has been corruption. Don't think China doesn't have corruption. That's crazy, man. The related surveillance and anti-corruption projects, Sharp Eyes, Zhuliang, an extension of Skynet, focuses heavily on rural coverage and local party committee monitoring. Wow. Operation Skynet, a separate political and financial operation by the Ministry of Public Security. Man, China ain't playing around. That's like 1984. The Ministry of Truth was the government constantly pushing lies. The Ministry of Hope, which destroys any type, of thought. Any relation to Wang computers? I'll look that up, definitely. Being half Asian, I don't find that Asian languages are easy on the ears. Is that just me? I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of sounds like a little bit like singing, when you hear some of the words. I don't know many. I mean, I think there is a difference when you listen to Korean, Chinese, and Japanese. There's a distinct, people will do like the Chinese, they have a different accent. Like, I would have to listen to more. I mean, some of the songs, and I would hear it on the kung fu movies. I'd have to listen to more. Now it says, is Skynet a real AI threat? And I guess it's talking about Chinese Skynet. While fictional, these stories present plausible scenarios of what could go wrong if we do not approach digital science, especially AI, without considering long-term consequences. While we are one hopes, a long way from Skynet, people are rushing to produce and deploy lethal autonomous weapons. This ain't this does not seem too good. This does not seem too good. China's version of SpaceX. Wow. So now they have that. Wow. So China, the internet is blocked in China. Thousands of foreign websites, apps, and digital tools. Yeah, China is a modern version of Skynet, man. I guess it depends on who's speaking to. Yeah, because a woman speaking Chinese is not. I mean, to me, the female voice, some feminine voices just sound cool. It's like I'm a man and I like femininity. I think that it's beautiful. So when a woman has a beautiful voice, it's like music to my ears, as long as she's not nagging. Some women are so pretty and they have such a lovely voice, even nagging doesn't sound like nagging. But over time, that's just me saying that now. But again, you live with it too long. It's like, what was that, Proverbs 21:19? Better to live in the desert than with a nagging wife. But, that old saying, women, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. It's just, that's life. That's part of being a man. And I accept that. But a woman with a pretty voice or a feminine voice, regardless what language she speaks, well, I can't really say what language she speaks. Chinese, English, but some languages, like I knew some chicks from Germany, it might not, or Russian, it's not the most romantic sound. French sounds pretty romantic. I used to date a chick from Montreal, or Montreal as they say it, and it had a cool sound. It definitely had a cool sound. I like British chicks. I knew a girl from Britain, and the accent was sexy in a way. But yeah, Chinese, I don't know. I mean, Japanese, I think Chinese sounds to me a little better than Japanese. Just that's a personal preference. But then again, when you say stuff, then you meet somebody and you start to say, well, the universe throws those curved balls at us.
Right. I think Vietnamese can sound pretty. I think it just depends on who's speaking, because I think I grew up like watching some like old Asian movies where the guys are all like, they just sound like, they're fighting, I guess. You know what I mean? So they sound like they're like talking in karate chops. You know what I mean? But yeah.
What part Asian are you mixed with?
My mom is from Japan.
From where?
Japan.
Oh, Japan. Wow.
Yeah.
So do you speak any Japanese?
Honto skoshi. No, I don't. Just a few words, a few sayings.
Or like arigato? Isn't arigato thank you?
Arigato, yeah, thank you. And good night is a yasumi nasai.
Yeah, and ohayo gozaimasu.
Yeah. What is that for, like you're welcome? No, means hello, right? Ohayo.
I think so.
Yeah, I never said that. I was like, I think it was
yeah.
my mom didn't want us to learn it.
My niece speaks it fluently.
Your niece?
Yeah, she's in Japan. She's been there for years. She speaks it like fluently. I'm surprised.
Oh wow.
Yeah. She's really I've learned some of it, but I forgot a lot. I remember oh man, now that I look back, I remember they say they don't have like certain the syntax that we have in our language. Like, I'm going to the store would be, Japanese says it totally differently. Brother Ali, good to see you, man. He says, I'm half Asian and they aren't easy on the ears. LOL.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to, because there's no like racism here, and all that. But like, it just sounds a little bit harsh, I think. I mean, except for, like I said, Vietnamese, like, you see at my manicure pedicures, and they do kind of sound like they're singing a little bit. It's like kind of cute. Maybe in Thailand too, but not Chinese. And I mean, Korean maybe a little bit nicer than Japanese, but men speaking Japanese to me just sounds kind of harsh. I don't know.
a guy. I don't know if he's a Chinese comic, but he does the three accents really good: Chinese, Korean, and Japanese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like because he's like and it was funny because when you think about it, it's like yeah, they do have different expressions. It's like Japanese. I mean, I have to admit, no, honestly, there is some Japanese that's very sexy. I have to admit that. Like when if they do the anime stuff, Mr. Super Sidewinder, good to see you, brother. It's I'm trying to think of what it is because their son, like Shinigami, I think is a song that they made. Um, and then there's Chinese that sounds, really cool. I think Japanese writes Chinese and is up to down, right?
Wait, say that again. Japanese what?
How do they write? Is it up to down or down to up?
I think it's down to up. I mean, no, I think it's from the top down. I think, yeah, and like it's like Hebrew is like that too. They read like right to left, and then like they start from the back of the book going forward. I mean, that's really weird how there's opposites like that exist on this planet. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Just like why is the Hebrew and the Asians? I mean, they all have that type of like the writings are kind of similar. I mean, as far as like pictographs or whatever, I mean, not similar, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says here, yes, Chinese, both Chinese and Japanese can be written from top to bottom, but
Yeah.
how and when they use this style is different today. So the modern style in Chinese, they do the left to right, and Japanese vertical style, which is tategaki. Um, Japanese uses a top to bottom writing very often.
Do they read from the right to the left?
They said the columns go from right to left. So they'll be going from top down, and then the next row, it'll be the right and then go to left, but it'll be top down.
What about the pages? Do they read from left to right like we do?
No, it's actually right to left, I think. It says here.
So they start at the back of the book, like the way, like what would be our back of the book?
Yeah, kind of like I think the Quran is written that way too, like in Arabic.
I think Hebrew too.
Yeah, Hebrew too. Yeah, you open. I had the Torah and it had that as well.
Stuff. So wait, isn't Mr. X going to Japan? I was just hoping he wasn't going to be there in like 2 weeks. When is he going?
Oh, I think they had like some type of earthquakes. My friend Jill is there. I hope she's all right. I wrote her an email. I was just like,
oh, they actually had earthquakes already?
Yeah. I think there was like maybe 14, 15 people dead.
Oh shit! I see.
Yeah.
I actually left him a message. When is Mr. X supposed to go there? Because I left him a message saying, "Be careful if you go to Japan," because this one astrology woman said, she's like a channeler too. She said there's a big thing that might happen around August 12th, but she's like it could happen sooner or later. But I just wrote him because like when is he planning on going?
I forgot when he said it might be soon.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not on August 12th because I don't know. So it was a big earthquake, or 15 people died. Was it really big, or was it just like?
I think it was medium. I didn't look too much into it. I checked it about 2 days ago to make sure she was okay. And then she writes me on Instagram, and I don't have Instagram, but I had like an old account. I don't have it on my phone, but
Where is your niece? Where is she?
I think she might be in the city. So Tokyo, I gotta ask my sister, but she's been there for over 10 years, I think. She speaks it fluent.
She loves it. What does she do there? She loves it?
Does some type of intellectual work. So she's very smart. She went to college and all of that stuff, and I guess like the culture, and she's just like very much into it. As her brother, who's older, I remember when he was a kid, I used to buy him the Pokemon cards. I never really understood those cards. I mean, I was never really, but he White Heat Truth says German sounds intellectual, but chicks that speak German, it's not really as sexy. It can, again, the voice of a woman, it depends on her voice if it's feminine. And Japanese has got some cool sounding names like Takahashi and Hiragami and stuff like that. They definitely got some cool You got to
But
laugh.
it's kind of choppy though, right? It's like everything is like
Yeah,
ka, ta, ta,
yeah,
ka,
it
ta,
can
ka,
be
ka,
kind
ka,
of
ka,
like,
ka. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, yeah,
but it
yeah.
is commanding. I mean, well, I guess the Japanese films would make it sound a little commanding, from
Oh
what I
yeah,
heard.
yeah. And there's certain words like the letter R is hard for Japanese to say. That's why they used the word when in World War II, Roger, when you're on the intercom. Yeah,
Because they couldn't
yeah.
say
So
it.
like,
They say lodger, they say
yeah,
L, right?
yeah, they say Lodger, so you would know, oh, that's not an American. So the pilots would use, Roger out, Roger over, stuff like that. And Chinese have a problem saying L. So like lollipop, they'll say Raripop.
Right. Oh wait. So it's the opposite. It's so weird because they're very
Yeah,
related. I mean, they're
yeah,
originally from the
yeah.
same group.
You have one that has a hard time. Chinese have a hard time saying L's, and Japanese have a hard time saying R's. So we use Roger, and it's funny how they made Godzilla. Because Chinese, it's hard to say Godzilla. It's like Godzilla. So they'll say Godzilla,
Oh
and
my god. That's
yeah,
hilarious because I think I never like put them together. They were opposite letters. Like one couldn't say one, but the other one could say the other. I mean, that's like crazy because they're very alike. You know what I'm saying? I just
yeah,
thought it was the same
yeah,
one, and then I just never like
yeah,
really put them together or next to
yeah.
each other.
And German is very close to English. Like Brother Ali is saying, "Kannst du Deutsch, mein Bruder?" So my brother, basically. I don't know if that's. It's not speak Dutch because Sprike in the Dutch speak Dutch. So it's can't you can't Dutch my brother, can't something Dutch my brother, because Germany is actually called Deutschland, and
Right.
Holland. Yeah, when I was there, it's not really Holland, it's called Netherlands. So we don't call them. See, this is how they keep us to where we don't know. Um, and it's very important. Um, oh, can you speak? I thought it's Sprechen is speak German. Yeah, can you speak German, my brother? So, can you German? I think you have to put Sprechen in there. So,
I
um,
thought, yeah, I thought they say Speckensy Deutsch, right? Isn't that how
yeah,
they say?
Sprechen die Deutsch. So it's like kannst du Deutsch. So it's kannst du sprechen Deutsch, mein Bruder. So that would be, can you speak Dutch, my brother? But Brother Ali might know it better than me. I'm not sure. Oh, that's the informal way. So yeah, because one way, when I was in the army, you had to learn the street signs for Germany, because if you're going to drive. So like one way is Einhabenstrafe. So Strafe is street, and ein is one. Like ein, zwei, drei, 1, 2, 3. Vier, fünf, six, sieben. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. And I learned that actually from a song from Kraftwerk. I don't know if you remember that band Kraftwerk, because the W is pronounced as a V. So like if you and a V is foul. So like I learned the German alphabet, A B C D A. It's different from A B C D E. And when you get to V, it's foul. So somebody named Van Buren, it's not Van Buren, it's Van Buren. And it was very important learning that. I used the informal, yeah, because I remember when I say Anhabenstrafe, one guy in Germany, he would say it in a different, like Einhabenstrafe, like you wouldn't even understand it. I'm like, holy smokes. Yeah, yeah, Brother Ali knows, man. Anti-Semitic languages are, why would you even call, ancient Semitic, sorry about that, White Heat Troop. Ancient Semitic languages are astoundingly close to Celt spoken on the Isles. I suggest that many Celts may have been the predecessor to Semites. That might be very true, bro. That might be very true. Celtics, I think that's why they call Brazil, Brazil, because there was a place called High Brazil from the Celts.
That's crazy though, because my dad was Irish, but he looked like really dark, like Semitic, like he would say that he had Spanish blood from like the Arab bloodline. But so,
Wow.
Celt, Celt and then Semites,
Yeah,
because
the
he looks
Celt.
like a Semite.
In Ireland, I learned how to say good morning and thank you in like 20 languages. In Ireland, it's zigazimagin. So to say good morning, it's zigazimagin. And of course, in Spanish, is bueno dia. And then in Latin, in French, it's bonjour. In Italian, it's buongiorno. Um, in Portuguese, it's bom dia. So very close. They're all Latin based, those three. And then Romanian is Latin. Wow, Retro said it was a 7.1. That's immense in Japan. Holy 7.1 on the Richter scale. Wow. Wow. That's amazing, bro. That's amazing.
Wow. And what is the highest? Is the highest?
No, like a high, like one of the highest is 8.
That is 8. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, so if it's 7.1, that's real. So like if they say an 8 on the Richter scale, that's a very catastrophic.
That's insane. So that woman that I listened to, she was right. She said there was going to be this huge, but luckily only 15 people died. She said it was huge.
Yeah,
it was going to be, but it was going to be like much bigger than just Japan. It was supposedly something like really big. But anyway, that's really crazy.
Yeah. Retro, I think this is Latin, et tu brute. That's like and you brute, and you Brutus, or something like that. I think that was 10, the planet falls apart. Wow. So 10 is like, yeah, it's just you're looking at some Pompeii level or something. But yeah, language is a beautiful thing. I mean, it's Russian. I had friends who were Russian. I learned some of that, like Slavic based, which is close to Czech. Czech is Slavic, Polish is Slavic. So like when you say good morning, dzień dobry in Polish, and dobre rano for Czech, and then I think dobre utro for Russian. But one of my friends from Czech Republic, he said dobre rano is more like good early. So good early, dobre would be day, and dobre and dzień dobry for Polish. So, but Finnish and Hungarian are more Middle Asian. They are from the Finno-Ugaric group. They're not Slavic languages, because in Western Asia, which is classified usually as Europe, which is still Asia, you have the three basics. You have Germanic, you have Slavic, and you have Latin. So, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, those are all Germanic. English is like 50% Germanic, and about 45% Latin. So, we have a lot of that. 9, we changed tilt like Chile earthquake. Holy smokes. I'm glad I do not live on the planet. Mr. Sidewinder is full flat. He is full on the flat. Dobre jutra for Serbian. Oh, wow. Bosnian Croatian. If Neo Wolf and Shift. Neo Wolf. I think Neo Wolf is I think he's in the Philippines still. Yeah, I think he is, man. He just, the 1964 Anchorage earthquake measured 9.2. Holy smokes. This is crazy, man. That is, oh my goodness. Oh my good. That's, and 7.1 in Japan.
What was 9.2?
He said, White Heat Truth said 1964 Anchorage earthquake measured 9.2. That's like devastating.
Wow.
That must have crushed ice, all types of stuff, man. Yeah. Mr. Super Sidewinder's on the flat plane. I mean, I don't know what we're on, I mean, I would say, hey, we can do a good fund me, rent a jet, and find out. I don't know if that's going to prove it. I know I've been to South America and Uruguay, and I've seen the difference in the sky. Definitely there are 24-hour days in Antarctica. People, you can take a trip there. There's a priest that brings people there to try to, he brings them there if they say that they're, believe the earth is, just a plane. And it's not saying that it wouldn't be. It's saying that, okay, you have to adjust your theory for what they say the sun revolves and stuff, because you're seeing 24-hour days and 24-hour nights in certain seasons. In southern Argentina, you'll see that, so you'll even see it up in Alaska. So These are these are truths. Wow, wow, 8.8 in Chile. Wow, I could have. So if an 8.8 in Chile in 2020, 2010, what did that do? I could imagine what the 9.1 or 9.2 in Anchorage did. Oh my goodness. Arizona skies are a sight to see. Yeah, here they are, man. The clarity, yeah, the clarity is a beautiful thing, man. I used to really love looking at the night sky until all of this covering, because some nights you never know if you're going to have a clear sky. And I can still, easily, point out the Orion uh, constellation. If you look on the top right star and go upward in that direction, you see the Pleiades. So I know some of the directional stuff still. I used to I bought a telescope in 1999. It was like $1,000. And, that, I was able to that's when I looked at the moon. I mean, it looked like you could step on. I mean, it looked beautiful. It was like, it looked, and I don't want to say fake, because some people, it looked like it was made of powder. It looked so delicate, so it didn't look translucent. Like in the daytime, sometimes it looks translucent. But when we talked about the Kordaluski clouds of plasma on both sides at 60-degree angles, it brings in a lot of questions to what we live on and in. And I think that doing research is really the key to learning. Doing research is the key to learning, to say, hey, I don't know. And that's the beginning. Because certainty, there's a problem with certainty, man. When you think you're certain, sometimes you're not certain. Just the way, like with people trusting AI 100%, not to say it can't help us, but there has to be parameters. It's like they put governors on cars to limit, so you don't, go over. You put safety, like on a circular saw, you have a safety mechanism. You don't remove that. So you have to have safety mechanisms. If the circular saw itself could remove the guard, then it can become dangerous. We can clearly see how that can become dangerous. So what was it? In iRobot, he made a good point. He goes, machines building machines. That's not the smartest move. That's not the smartest move. Machines building machines. I don't know why the link doesn't stay pinned to the top, but here you go, Mr. X. Good to see you. Um, uh, the moon comes in good on my standard. Yeah, it comes in beautiful. I had a 111 times telescope. It was beautiful. Hey, MD, did you see the link I left in last night's comments about asthma according to medical medium? It's so good. No, I didn't. If you have to put the link, it won't show up in the regular thing unless you're a mod. If you put it in the regular comments, I'll see it in the back when I go, because it has me like and I'll approve it, and it'll show up. So yeah, if you just place it in the regular comments, it'll show up. Yeah, Mr. X, what's up? Timbo, good to see you.
Yeah, I heard you talking about machines making machines. I don't like it either, but you can't change what's going to happen. I think we're headed that way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, well, that was the line he said in iRobot. I don't know if you saw iRobot.
I did see iRobot, but a while ago, long
Yeah,
time ago.
When he talked with the girl, she acted in another movie. The girl that played the scientist part in iRobot, I forgot her name. Pretty girl. I forgot what other movie she played in, but she's a known actor. And yeah, she goes, the machines make machines. He goes, that's not, that's not smart. Timbo, good to see you. He says, June 10th, 2010, I was shocked to see how large the moon appeared after gazing at it a while. I saw a tiny point of light raise slowly from the surface, pause, and shoot off into the backdrop of space. Wow. That's deep, man. I put it in the comments after the stream. Yeah, okay, sure, definitely. In the regular comments, definitely. Yeah, it'll stay. It won't pop up at first, but I'll click it to where it'll stay, definitely. so everybody can check the link and check what it is. The Mind does that too sometimes, and I'll pop it in there. Um, yeah, yeah, Japanese, Chinese. The horizontal style of Japanese is called yokogaki. So we have that. Um, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I heard about that earthquake. How does it affect our travel plans? I know we're going to
Oh yeah, Conscious Rising wanted to know when you're going to Japan and
end of the month. End of
Okay,
the month.
okay,
Yep,
yeah,
29th. Basically the first week of September, pretty much.
mhm. Yeah. She's part Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She said, yeah.
Yeah, I'm half. But yeah, I was because like there was supposedly this really huge earthquake that was going to happen around. She said around August 12th, and I was hoping you weren't going to be there with your daughter. So you're going the end of the month because I mean they already had a big earthquake. I just learned, but so hopefully that's all there is. But yeah, I'm glad you're not going until the end of the month.
Yeah, they
You
just
know,
had 7.1. I don't know if you heard about that,
I
Mister.
did hear about it, but I just wasn't sure if that was near Tokyo. Was it near Tokyo, Conscious? Do you know? Or
Yeah, let me check.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know about it at all. I don't really watch the news or anything.
oh yeah, I just saw the headlines about it. I think the news just talks nonsense. You're not going to get anything interesting there. So,
Um, it says Kumamoto Prefecture in Japan's southwestern island of Kyushu. Okay, so it was on the
oh,
southwest island of Kyushu, southwestern. Hmm.
I think they pronounce it
Hmm.
Kyushu, but I'm not
that's
sure.
right.
I could be doing it completely wrong. I
Kyushu?
have no idea. I think it's Kyushu. Like I'm
Oh,
not sure.
Kyushu. Okay, yeah, Kyushu.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you're right.
sure.
Yeah, Kyushu. Yeah,
I'm
Kyushu.
not
Yeah,
sure.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. I got to work on my Japanese.
And
This.
wait, and I'm
There you
gonna
go.
email you
There
the
you
link.
go.
I'm gonna email you the link for that asthma because
Yeah,
I actually
yeah,
listened to
sure.
it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Is
so
it
good.
your
That's funny you
father
asked
or
me.
mother who's Japanese?
My mother.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
she came over after. I mean, her dad was her stepdad was in the American military in Hawaii and
Hmm.
Virginia, so that's
Hmm.
why she was in America. She lived in Hawaii for a bunch of years. My grandmother lived there for 30 years.
Hmm.
But my mom was there, and then she moved to New York. That's where she met my dad. But I have to send you that link. I'm gonna email it to you just in case too, because like, what kind of so do you have asthma that you've had since a child, or did you get it like from your work because you were
No,
like
I
in
think I got it from the environment in New York City because I was healthy in the army. I mean, I didn't use an inhaler or nothing. I mean, I would run, I would do everything. I didn't have a problem with the exercise. I was good for, man, like 20 years after I got
right?
out. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
have
it
a,
was definitely from your environment. But I was like, because
yeah.
I was listening to it, I just listened to it earlier, and it's really fascinating because I never listened to that episode.
Hmm.
And I mean, he talks about. I mean, he was talking about like a lot of guys get it when they like worked in like like one guy was working in a place where he was like sharpening blades for like lawnmowers,
Hmm.
and and
Yeah.
people like working in construction. He says there's a lot of like stuff like particle
Oh
board
yeah. Oh,
and
yep. I
stuff
could
like
have,
that.
I've did construction and stuff, but I was fine. I think they have a place in Manhattan and Queens and the Bronx called Asthma Alley,
Oh
and
God.
they have these barges, and it's even off of Brooklyn, off of the southwest part of Brooklyn. They have these barges that they're gigantic generators for energy, and it burns gas.
Oh
And
God.
natural gas produces, I would think it burned clean, but it doesn't. And it produces these pollutants that cause problems, especially there's unburnt gas that has even more deadly stuff in it, from what they say. And
Right.
people, yeah, they get messed up. I didn't know because I was like, wait a second, I'm a healthy person. Everybody was like, yeah, I used to exercise all the time. It just, I was noticing that, and I said, what the heck is going on? And the Veterans Hospital, they were like, okay, they thought it was COPD. Then it's as they don't know what it is. But I had the research. Scribe was the one that actually helped me do the research, and he's like, bro, you it's definitely something going on with the environment where you're at. And New York City, everybody that comes here, people will tell me, they said, look, man, as soon as I came back, I could tell a difference in the air. But,
Wow.
I'm a native New Yorker. born in Brooklyn. Unless I get rich, I mean, I'm still gonna always come back to New York and stay here. And I have family in almost every borough, all the way out in Long Island. It just Long Island is cool. It's kind of like New York's Kentucky, but yeah,
That's where I grew up. I grew up in Long Island.
yeah, and it's cool. I love the people out there. I know people. I mean, I know where Brookhaven Labs, and Brookhaven Labs has a small hadron collider.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 3/4 of a mile in diameter. It's a gigantic circle, and it's a particle accelerator. They're doing experiments.
Yeah, I'm worried that I'm might be one of them or something. I don't know. I
It
don't know what
could affect. It's right on the Peconic River that leads into Riverhead, which is Flanders Bay and then Peconic Greater Bay. I talked to a guy the other day. He works for what was it? The marine. He's a marine biologist, and he told me he lives on the pike right by the Peconic River. I go, do you? He goes, look, I wouldn't fish in there, and I'm like, wow. So because I was researching all of the pollution, and I was researching because Brooklyn and Queens is on Long Island. It's just the western part of Long Island, and then past Queens you have Nassau, and then Suffolk County's the other half of the island. But in Suffolk County, in Wading River, on the north part of the island, has a nuclear power plant that was never opened, North Shore or Shoreham.
Right, Shoreham Wading River.
Yeah,
but they also had an old military base there, right, where they did the Montauk Project. It's abandoned now.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a history of doing strange stuff out there, including Plum Island.
Yes, very.
And they have a problem with overflowing sewers in Montauk when I looked that up, because I said, let me start at Montauk with my research, and they got pollution. And right past Montauk coming west, Montauk is the most eastern point on Long Island on the south. On the that's where Plum Island is, across. I think Orion Point is the most eastern point on the north fork.
Or Orient Point, yeah. I mean, Plum Island is off of Montauk. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, off of Orient Point. And I think in the middle, because Long Island looks like a fish, it has the north and south forks. You have Shelter Island. Yeah, and then on the south, you have Montauk and Amagansett, and then I think the Hamptons. You have like the East, the West Hampton, Southampton, Bridgehampton. I used to deliver from the city back in the 90s all the way out to Sag Harbor, to West East Hampton.
That's a haul. That's a haul.
It was 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I used to do it on Saturdays. And my brother-in-law, he worked, it was SP Drugs. It was a company we delivered to pharmacies. And I used to do Saturday shift. And I was 17 years old. And I used to drive, because I had my license since I was 16. And yeah, it was a cool thing because I used to take the ferry. I used to go to Greenport. Greenport's on the north. And I would take the ferry, the Sag Harbor ferry. It was a long time ago. It was a great drive. I remember. I used to drive a van, deliver the stuff, and
quite nice to get out of the city and go to that.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful, man. It was a great job. It was
a lot of farmlands out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, a lot of fun.
I worked on the Hampton Jitney. I used to be a bus attendant, driving people back and forth from the Hamptons to the city.
Yeah, the Hampton, and that's a trek. What was it, like 2.5 hours, right?
Depending on the traffic, it could be an hour and a half, but it's like 2 hours. Yeah. It could be like 3 hours with traffic, but now it's probably crazy. It's probably always 3 hours.
Yeah, because in the 90s, Long Island had 3.5 million. Now it has 7.5. So, and the city, I think, it used to have 8 million because they had that movie 8 Million Ways to Die, about the 8 million people in New York City. I think there's 11 million in New York City now. Counting, that's the 5 boroughs and stuff,
Right,
it's just, yeah, it's crazy, man. New York is just, it's on another level, man. Yeah.
The thing about New York, it's like you got to be rich. You have to be rich to enjoy it because that's the kind of city it's become. You know what I mean? I think. Yeah. I don't know. I think poverty could be really miserable there.
Well, I don't think you have to be rich, but I think you have to.
Like middle class rich, right?
I don't know. And
I think it's
I just think to be comfortable, you know what I mean?
a regular apartment, I think, is about $6,000 a month in New York
There
City.
you go. That's rich to me. You know, if you can afford that.
You,
Oh my God, that's insane.
yeah, you can barely find a ghetto apartment for like $3,000.
Look at that.
And that's crazy. That's like, I remember it used to be 1,000 in really bad neighborhoods in Manhattan back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, the Village, you might find something, but now it's a tough one, man. It makes you wonder, I mean, and there's apartments in Manhattan for like, millions of dollars, man. It's crazy.
I know. I know. And it's like you don't want to just stay in your apartment the whole time. You want to go travel or do something or
Yeah.
see a
Manhattan,
show, you know?
yeah, it's very clicky. That's what I notice about Manhattan. It's very clicky.
Sure.
That's what we consider New York City, even if you're in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, is part of New York City technically, but the
Mhm.
real city is Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you do have some sites in Brooklyn, but uh it's a lot of dangerous parts. Canarsie, East New York,
Right.
uh, Brownsville, Bedford Stuyvesant. They ain't the best of neighborhoods. I mean,
It just seems to really enjoy it. You'd have to come from wealth. That's the vibe I get. And
yeah.
I live there too. And it's just like, it's just,
Hmm.
it's being poor sucks, there. It could be like, it could be a great place or it could be hell. You know what I mean? One of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. It's a tough one. AP 530, good to see. He says nothing's getting better. Man, it's so messed up. I can only hope that it gets better, but you got a good point, man. It's scary, especially with, we're in that AI stage. Like Mr. X said, 10 years ago, we wouldn't have known what a data center is.
Yeah.
It's like nobody thought about that. 2016. It's like it just, what was it, the last 5 years, 4 years, maybe?
Pretty
That,
much. And
yeah.
even when we started our streams, we weren't talking about David's data
Yeah,
center.
exactly. They weren't around. Yeah. It just once AI hit, I would say the last 2 years even, because AI
Yeah.
hit and we still didn't know.
Mhm.
AI's been here for 3 years, I guess. With the videos and the stuff,
Sure.
right? Yeah, I
But
don't.
what we know of, yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
But they're expanding exponentially. Like I said, the next year they're going to double the amount. They're going to be building much more powerful data centers. So, I hate when people judge AI as, they judge it how it is today. It's like, guys, hold up. Let's see what happens in a year from now. It's going to have so much more power. What we're
yeah,
seeing is nothing. Yeah,
yeah. One of the first AI danger movies was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Hal, Hal. Yeah, computer Hal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even Ultron from the Avengers. I think that's a type of AI, that robot Ultron
Yeah.
that was, yeah, it's
But
just,
originally that was in the comic books too,
mhm,
Ultron. So,
yeah.
and
I
think
think,
about Kubrick, it's like they knew something way. He built that. He made 2000 Space Odyssey came out, I believe, in '69 when I was born. And it's like,
wow.
think about how advanced that movie was for its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just looked it up. It says Evil Companions and Coal Logic, 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968. Holy
Oh,
smoke.
a year before I was born.
I guess, yeah. A spaceship's comm computer, HAL 9000. I remember the name. Malfunction and turns on the human crew to protect its secret mission. What was the secret mission?
I can't remember. I can't remember. It's such a vague, the parts of the movie have to be like explained to you because I know he goes into that wherever he goes. I guess he sees himself as an old man in this room somewhere.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and they show you like the baby, the fetus or something.
that's at the end of the movie when it was about
Okay.
to end. Yeah, in the egg and point and looking at Earth, coming to Earth.
All right. Typed in what was HAL 9000 secret mission to investigate an alien signal sent from Jupiter from the moon to Jupiter. So that must have been the monolith.
Yeah.
That black monolith, that square looked like a door. And
And we've
18,
had monoliths in ancient civilization, wasn't it? Was it in Iraq
yeah,
or that they had a monolith?
I think so. But
Yeah,
2001 was kind of evolution propaganda too, right? With the apes and the bones and stuff.
right. At the beginning, they
Yeah.
show the apes and that they were civilized. I think he's implying they were civilized by some other greater society, some alien society civilized them with this
Mm.
monolith. I think that was part of the implication.
Yeah,
And
yeah, like they
yeah,
were breaking skulls with bones or something, right? With the
Right.
music.
They're just a bunch of wild animals, but then the this monolith shows up with the apes just dancing around it. They don't know what to make of it. But I think
Mm.
they're implying that this other celestial, yeah, what do you call it, alien beings are the ones that civilize them. Kind of
Mm.
like what we see in the Egyptian, temples with the small being and
Yeah.
the large giants, kind of on a potter's wheel. You
You know
know,
what's weird is there's a an artifact I took pictures of in the museum in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in
hmm
Manhattan, which holds a lot of Egyptian artifacts, and it's called the Metternich Stela or the Magical Stela. And on that stela has some small hieroglyphs that it has one with a baboon riding what appears to be a horse or an ox, and it looks just like the thing from the Planet of the Apes with the ape riding the horse.
wow,
Yeah, it has some fascinating stuff. I got to get some of that stuff together. I got to look for my files, and it's shocking. Some of the stuff that I found, I'm like, this is this is serious stuff. Yeah, it's it makes me wonder, like, there's so much stuff that they hide from us,
it is.
and if we don't search, we're not going to be able to find it. IMBD, International Movie Database, 48 best AI and robot movies. They have Wall-E. So Wall-E, I think I saw part of that. Black Mirror. I didn't know Black Mirror was a movie. I thought it was like a series. The Matrix, Inception. I didn't know Inception was AI.
Yeah,
iRobot.
I didn't know either. Inception, I thought was a dream state or something. They were going into a dream state.
Yeah, it's saying that a thief who steals corporate secrets, though the use through the use of dream sharing technology.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. I didn't notice that, but iRobot number 5, Robot and Frank, Origins. I never heard of that one.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a molecular
It's a foreign
biology.
movie.
Yeah, and his laboratory partner uncover evidence that may fundamentally change society as we know it. Transcendence with Johnny Depp. I remember that one. I think a scientist's drive for artificial intelligence takes on dangerous implications when his own consciousness is uploaded into one such program. Yeah, he goes Ex Machina was pretty good. I kind of like that.
hmm
I don't know if you saw that one. Ex
I
Machina.
heard of it. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. I don't. And
It's
if I did, it must have been a long time ago.
the guy that they had that they were testing the robot, the female robot Ava with.
hmm
He started simping for her, and he caused the whole thing. She ended up escaping. Yeah, and killing the guy who created it, Chappie. So Chappie was another one. Interstellar. Interstellar didn't seem too AI-ish.
No, it didn't seem AI at all. Actually, it
Yeah,
had to do more with the relativity of time.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's
yeah.
weird. Minority Report. Yeah, might have had it. 21. Uh, yeah, I never heard of that one. Devs, Passengers, Ghost in the Shell. We talked about that with the Mind earlier. Tomorrowland, Annihilation. That's more of an alien movie, I thought. Annihilation, The Great Hack, Stranger Things is kind of AI-ish.
Mhm.
But I guess they got a new version in 2016. Because I thought the original was with Angela Bassett. Um, yeah, some of these mixed in are definitely alien. Her with Joaquin Phoenix. That's definitely some type of like companionship. People are ready for that, man. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not.
I'm looking forward to it. I got to be honest with you. And
Wow,
as
the
far
AI
as
companion.
AI running the show, let's just say that it takes control.
Hmm.
I'm just looking at. I got to look at the evidence. People say, "Oh no, it's going to be terrible. Machines will take over." It's like I look at the history of the world, and man has not treated man very well at all. It has a pretty bad history. So I just doesn't scare me that much. I got to be honest with you. I'm actually looking forward to all the innovations and the the comforts, and even if it causes me to be in a pod and I'm putting on glasses and I'm in another world, at
Mhm.
my age, I think I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I
As an
mean,
older person, I know it seems kind of selfish, but at the same time, we can't think like Hollywood. Like we're going to save the world. The
yeah,
Matrix is a great movie, but it's still Hollywood.
yeah.
It's fantasy. It's not
Well, I
real
think
life.
Conscious Rising is Gen X too in our generation. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's like probably early 70s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
72.
yeah, so she's
That Gen
definitely
X?
yeah.
That Gen X? I
Yeah,
thought,
she
okay.
yeah. It's all the way it's like from was it from like 66 to like 76, 79, you
But that
know?
would be 70s. I think she'd be a baby boomer, right?
No, no, she's 72.
Yeah.
So that's yeah, that's Gen X. Yeah.
Born in 72, not 72 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were 72 years old.
Yeah,
It's like,
no,
what?
no. Yeah, no, she
Okay, I
definitely
got confused, you know.
you hear the
No, that's Gen
sharpness of her
X.
mind.
That's
There's
Gen
no
X.
way. The way she talks, no, she
Yeah, I know.
definitely
I was like, wow,
she sounds
that's
younger.
pretty.
Yeah, she sounds
I
like
know.
she has a lot of energy, you know.
No, I thought
Yeah.
you said you were. I thought you were saying she was 72 years
Yeah,
old.
no,
So that's what I
yeah,
was.
1972, she's right there with us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Gen X, of
She's
course.
definitely Gen X. They,
I'm just looking forward to. I think it's going to be fascinating. I really do. I
they,
really do. Yeah,
I
and I think
remember.
we're going to love it. I got to be honest with you. I think we're all going to love it.
I
I
hope
think it's.
so. I
I do. I really do. We could go like to mountains, hiking on mountains or something
I
like
know
that.
Retro. I know Retro's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Retro, yeah, he's already embracing it. He trains the AI,
Hmm.
and it's a companion already. He said he'd be driving down the road, and AI will tell him, "Hey, why don't you stop in this bookstore? It's got stuff that you might like,
Yeah.
stuff like that." Yeah, he's on the cutting edge.
Well,
Um,
imagine all this
I
drone
would
tech.
not love that. Why would you love that? Because it's like designed by. I mean, I'd check it out as like like taking like a carnival ride once in a while, but like not as like I don't know. To me, it's very.
Yeah. Well, I
I don't
think because and you know what the crazy thing is? Retro's Gen X too.
Hmm.
Yeah, Retro is what do you
right.
say?
Sounds like he's
He's
20.
he's 76.
Wow.
Yeah, 1976. Yeah, he's
And
Gen X too. But
what are
he
you? What are you? 69 or 70?
yeah, 70, yeah.
Right.
So we're all Gen X, you know.
Me too. Me too.
It's
Yeah.
and we're like Scribe is Gen X too, but he's 79. He's like right at the end of Gen X. He's like Gen X starting into millennial. You know,
Okay.
so he I think he's 79, yeah, like 79 or 80. But 80 is right when, that's like going into millennial. So that's early millennial, 82, So we're like the last we're what they have some videos, Gen X, the unwanted generation.
I saw that highlighted. I never watched. I didn't watch it, but I saw
A
it. Yeah.
Patterson, because A Patterson is Gen X too. I haven't seen him in a
Okay.
while. He wrote to me on email a few times, but he hasn't been in the chat. He was the one that hit me to this guy that he has like some really good stuff. And he goes, if you look at the films, we were like we were the latchkey kids,
Yeah, that's right.
and
I
it's
was. That's for sure.
yeah, we some of us had supervision, some of us had like more of a relaxed thing, and he was saying that if you look at the movies, it was always about the kid being the problem, irreconcilable differences, Kramer versus
Yeah.
Kramer, always the battle, and the kid,
Yeah.
yeah, so it did have some of that, but honestly it was a beautiful time.
No, I think it was. I definitely think it was. But
Yeah.
it's just times change, and guess what? We're getting older. Our bodies aren't the same. So
Mhm.
either way, it's not a good outcome. So we might as well just go with the technology and see what we can have fun with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, the world's going to come to an end eventually, no matter what.
Mhm.
This was that's it. Look at the history of our Earth. We're the lucky ones to be born where we were born because we didn't have to go through no draft or major world war. I mean, of course, there was Iraq, but it wasn't the same as say like Vietnam or anything like that.
Mhm.
So every generation prior to us has had it pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. BP it says Gen X is 65 to 80. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
65 to 80.
being
Yeah.
born
Yeah.
1980 to 65. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, great generation. You know, we still have like an outlook. You know, we noticed that because
Oh, it's a wonderful generation.
yeah, A. Patterson's Gen X. There's a few. There's a few of us that are still around. It's like we're like the Blade Runners, you know.
I mean, the '80s I thought was the best time to be a teenager. I really do. I'm looking at it not just because I was born there, because I look at the history of the world,
Hmm.
and I can't say the '50s because a lot of those guys went to Vietnam. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I can't say them.
yeah,
I think the '80s was the best, honestly,
yeah,
to be a teenager. Yeah,
yeah.
the
No,
music, the
yeah,
movies, everything, the
80s was
style.
cool. It was tough because of the inflation, but it was cool. It
It
was
was.
definitely cool. Like I never had a VCR until later. I would have loved to have like a video camera to be able to just look back at stuff, but it was there wasn't. I remember the inflation. What the 90s for me was really cool. That was this country was in a surplus, with from like the mid 90s, I would say early 90s to like 2000 was probably kind of like in the Matrix. They say the late 90s had some of the best movies too. It's like, I mean,
Oh
they had,
yeah,
yeah,
true.
Matrix, Equilibrium, Gattaca, a lot of other ones, Dark
We were
City.
in our young 20s in the '90s, so it's kind of the same thing, a little bit, a little older, but still young. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was beautiful. It was, have to admit, it was just, I didn't see any trails in the skies. I remember the blue skies and stuff like that. And it just, you don't see that deep. I don't see the deep blue too much. I mean, maybe by the coastline, Miami might be better. Uh, Scribe says Panama is great. You have like the air is better.
Did you
Um,
guys did you guys notice there's a lot of big puffy clouds in the last like week? Like we're
it's been kind of overcast over here. Are you in New York? Or are you in
I'm upstate New York a little bit, like I'm
uh-huh.
near Poughkeepsie, but it's like I mean normally you see like lots of chemtrails and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
foggy like
It,
whatever, but like lately I've been seeing really big, beautiful, huge puffy
yeah,
clouds.
1 or 2 days I did see the puffy clouds, but then it was overcast because we had like rain, like thunderstorms on the last, like, I would say the last 5 days has been kind of cloudy, but more
Right,
like
yeah.
but yeah, it's more like overcast cloudy.
Right, yeah. We had a big
So
storm and got
yeah,
a lot of
everything, it just
water.
looks, yeah, like a big fluorescent light.
Wait,
Just
and I wanted to ask you one question before we get off completely off the topic. Like your asthma, what is the symptoms? Does your chest get tight or you can't breathe?
it'll be like a shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath, just a shortness of breath. So it could be. I just wanted to tell you, like, I'm going to send you the information, but it could also be neurological. The shortness of the breath could actually be inflammation of like your phrenic or vagus nerve. So it's not always. I mean, it's partially in the lungs, but there's also this thing about the neurological tightness in the chest and not being able to breathe. So just it's really
Wow.
fascinating information. So I
Yeah,
hope
it
you
could be
understand
that
that.
because I'll use a the portable inhaler, and
Yeah, he said.
sometimes,
Yeah, he
yeah.
says that the steroidal inhalers can actually help because steroid is a steroid. There's like one of the three tools that the medical industry actually uses that actually helps people out of situations. So a
Mhm.
steroid can help you out of even if it's not just for the it's not just for the lungs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
they gave me the steroid inhaler too, but like when I read the side effects, I'm scared to use it. Like I used it a few times, and if sometimes it started to make like I had to still use the other inhaler, and if I go to the hospital, they give me like the nebulizer, and then I feel better. But like sometimes I'll be sleeping, and I don't know, like today, like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, I had to use the inhaler. I
do
started
you do
feeling
you have your own personal nebulizer? Because you can get one for like a good one for $30 on Amazon.
real. I was looking on Amazon because I wanted to get one that was portable because they gave me the little box with the ampules that I can put in the nebulizer.
Mm-hmm.
And but the thing is, the machine is a little loud. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I have a portable one. It's just like you can recharge it, and it's like little, and you just and I put. I know that I think you mentioned colloidal silver. Like there's like a really strong colloidal silver called Argentin 23, and
uh-huh.
it's like 10 times the strength, or I don't know, maybe 20 times the strength of regular colloidal silver. But yeah, I actually used it today, like just to like clear out my lungs because I just caught something or whatever, like some kind of something in my lungs that I couldn't get rid of. But like, it's amazing. Yeah, I'll send you the link for the nebulizer I bought pretty cheap on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely. Because if I can put the ampules of the albuterol in there, they gave me like the little like the package of it, and
What is
it,
albuterol? It's something for it's not a steroid.
no, it's a non-steroidal one, and then they gave me one called like Wixel or something. That's the steroid one. I think it was fluconate was another one. That one agreed with me a little better, but when I was taking it for like a couple, you're supposed to take it twice a day, and I noticed after a few days it was hard to spit, the saliva was like more sticking to my tongue, and I said, "Yeah, this must be a side effect." And I
Right.
still, yeah, it kind of like I was feeling kind of weird. But when you read the side effects, it just scares you, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not saying that it'll happen, but yeah, it starts to really, you start to, yeah, man,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you're really good about like changing, your really healthy diet for the longest time. So, but you said like, are you back on dairy products and eggs and stuff?
Yeah, well, I eat like an egg. I like an egg usually every day, but some like today I didn't eat an egg. Um, and I'll use a little like when I made some soup, I chopped up an onion, crushed up some garlic. I put a little butter in the soup pan, and then I put like some chicken broth. Usually I use vegetable broth, but I ate the chicken broth. And last night when I ate that, because Drew Ma was telling me, because he's been a vegan for like 20 years, and it's like, if you eat an onion and two cloves of garlic a day, it'll help you a lot. And
Yeah.
I felt a little better. I mean, last night the show went so long because we were like arguing so much. It was like 6 hours. I was just like, boring. He's hilarious, man. He is really
Right. I
because
couldn't believe it. I was like 6 hours. I was like, oh my god. So I like, yeah, that
yeah,
was crazy.
and it was funny because because Mr. X and everything, we were all talking, and then he got quiet, like Scribe and I and the X, we were talking. I forgot who else. That guy Dave came on, and Boren was quiet. I don't know if he was researching, and then he just started spurging out, like, I don't want to be known as the guy that Parmenides, and I'm like, that's when I was like, all right, man, if I offended you, I apologize. You're definitely part of the crew. But I think maybe he spends a lot of time on Discord. I don't have a Discord, so he Discord can use up a lot of your time. From what a lot of people have told me.
Right. Well, but there was like a lot of you guys talking at once, so I think it was hard for him. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
he's pretty brilliant, and usually he's pretty even keeled and like not
Hmm.
enlightened, but pretty balanced. But like, I
Yeah,
think there was just so much going on, and it just got a little bit,
yeah. He's
and
very smart, but he's like an encyclopedia. He has a lot of knowledge, but books don't think. I mean, you have to. You could, like we were saying, okay, we know stuff, but then one, we could be wrong, and two, you got to think. When I asked him about Parmenides, I said, "Well, what are you getting the knowledge from?" He says, "Oh, we have fragments." And
But
I'm
like
like,
I actually I agree with him though. Like the whole premise of like, I mean, there could be absolute void and nothing, kind of like.
no, he's saying that can't exist.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of true. Like I agree with him and you. It's like it's kind of like a particle and a wave. It can be both. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
like what
and
he's saying. I agree with more because
yeah,
everything that exists is like it's just there because it's there, and like the nothing is kind of like it. It can't really exist because yeah, it just negates absolutely everything. So it's like like there can't even be like, I mean, even like a blank slate, so like something that's black and like nothing, a void, like that's actually something, right? I mean, it's a
hmm.
void. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I kind of agree with him, but I understand what you guys were saying too. So it's just being able to just be like,
yeah.
okay, I know what you're saying, but it's like kind of like he said, like a different, whether ontological or like whatever,
Yeah, he
different.
was bringing that, but then I try to explain to him, okay, this is what we know, and then there's stuff that we don't know. So okay, we know this, and we can say that nothing can't exist because if we say that it exists, that nothing exists, it's existing. It's not nothing. And he was trying to hold it on it, and I said, okay, but there are nothings within something. So even though somebody might say the air in a container is something, even though it's empty, you can make it a vacuum. And then now there's no air in there, so there's nothing in there. The vacuum is in there, but it's inside of a container, which is something.
Right.
And
Or I mean, I think it's more just a negation of something. It doesn't really actually exist. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like, but he's like, no, it can't exist, according to Parmenides. And he was putting, when he said that Parmenides was considered the father of this, and I said, well, there's older guys that have talked about this. And that's when we started really, and I said, Confucius had talked about stuff before Parmenides. Anybody can look that up. Then
Did I
Lao's.
get it wrong though? But you listed it. You said per minute. The way you listed it, I thought you were actually stating that Confucius was earlier. I mean, afterwards, because I think you said. I mean, the way the numbers, the sequence at UN, it actually made it sound like
Yeah, no,
Parmenides was older.
yeah, it does sound that way because when you go BC,
Oh, BC. Okay,
yeah,
right.
so like 540 BC is Confucius, like 5
Oh, okay.
BC.
Yeah. I get it. I didn't realize
Yeah,
it was
and then with
BC. Okay.
6 BC is Lao Tzu, but that's actually older. If you go forward, then it would be younger because the 5th century and 6th century, the 6th century is closer to us than the 5th century, right? So
right, but you also said that we don't really know like the history and the time and everything could be
yeah,
like
this
a
is just
lie.
what's documented, so it could be, I mean, it's pretty well documented. But then I asked him, I said, well, what about Parmenides? Like, where do you get the philosophy? And he goes, well, we have fragments. And that's when I was like, well, that's kind of tough because there's much more stuff with Confucius. He liked Lao Tzu, but which is older than Confucius. But then you also have Sun Tzu, which is around Confucius's time too. So you have all of these guys very within a few, 200 years, and you would think, okay, yeah, Parmenides, the knowledge could have traveled to Greece because Greece has gotten knowledge from other cultures, and it's a very knowledgeable culture, but it's built on the Hellenistic culture, which is older. And when I asked him, I said, well, who are the oldest before the Greeks? And he said, the Mycenaeans. And I said, well, they still are Greeks. I said, I'm talking about people in the same place that are older than the Greeks. So they're not Greek. They were there before the Greeks, and the Greeks were built on top of that. And he couldn't really name that. And I'm like, okay. So he tried to say, well, people migrated. I said, now you're getting into evolutionary zombie. I said, you're going with the narrative that has been proven to be unscientific because you're saying that, so nobody was there. Somebody had to come there from somebody else. No, it was built on top of that. And then when we go before Lao Tzu, 6th century, we go to 8th century BC. You got, I think it's Udalak. I forgot how to say it. It's an Indian philosopher. And then before that, you go into the Prahotep, I think, or Tahotep, which is the Egyptian ones. And, it keeps going. So to say that Parmenides is the father of this, he tried to say, oh, no, they agreed with Parmenides. And I'm like, well, if they're older than Parmenides, they're not agreeing with him. He's agreeing with them. And
Right.
yeah, so he couldn't understand that, and he got mad because I guess I told him, I said, your ego. I said, it's your ego that's the problem. I said, you're not looking at it logically, man. And then he's like, what do you got against the Greeks? And I'm like, nothing. I said, the Greeks had some knowledge, but they destroyed a lot, went to the Egyptians, invaded them, and then made them their teachers. And that's where they got a lot of their lost history back from because I said, you can look at the documentation. The Egyptians were known to be the holder of records and stuff. And, so he kind of, I could see, he, just like an encyclopedia, it's like they don't want to change what's written. It's to say, okay, you have the knowledge, but you have to think. Having the book knowledge is not enough to say, okay, I know this, and this is epistemology and ontology. All that. It's like, how about we just think, and we figure out that okay, what we know is one thing, and what we don't know is another thing, and what we know could also be partially wrong. So that's another thing that's easy to miss, to say, okay, we know all this stuff. Now, some of the stuff we know might be incorrect. We know this to be true. because if we put all the knowledge out there of what we think we know, I'm pretty sure we would find out some of the things that we think to be true. Some of them are not going to be true. You know, we might
But
say,
can't we not, if nothing is impossible to know, isn't that part of the definition of nothing, that we can't know it?
kind of, yeah, and see, so it shows that nothing can be something. It exists, but then by saying it's something, he's saying
It's no
permanent.
longer nothing. It's no
I think
longer
it's just
nothing.
I think it's just an idea though, because you can't really
Yeah,
find it. You can't
exactly.
find it.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
when
like
we, yeah, so and that's when he was like, it was too much on Parmenides. I was like, this guy, and he
Yeah,
did.
that's the problem.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, come on, bro, you got to think. And I was going to troll him a little, but then he was too delicate because I was going to say, you know, start messing with him. But I said, oh, yeah, he's going to crack. And that's when I told him, look, we're here to make you tougher. You're part of the crew, just like you're part of the crew, Conscious, you know, and it's like, you're cool, you know, Hyperborean's cool too. It's just funny. It's fun to play around because when you see that somebody has a problem taking a joke, now it makes it hilarious, you know? And it's like, come on, bro, you got to laugh. I mean, we're in existence. We don't know what the hell this thing is. And if you think you know what it is, it's just proving that you don't. We don't know.
Well, I think what he knows, whatever the studies are that he's doing, I think that comes the closest. Like I haven't even gone there, which is like it's pretty fascinating information to dive into. But I think he does know more. But like he did get caught and trapped in like the words, like like the nothing thing is an idea, it's a concept, it's a negation of what is, but it doesn't. I mean, but he was, so he was getting very like bookish or whatever, but like
yeah.
but he was right. I mean, I believe what he was fighting for. I totally believe what he's saying because like like what's Retro is saying that like something was just like a side effect of consciousness is a side effect of whatever, but it's like no, like consciousness is like what everything's based on, like and like once a spark is like taken away, like we're sparks of light of like the original or cosmic source or whatever, like that goes on, like it can't really go to nothing ever, like it can't ever go back.
No, you can't.
Like he brought the whole subject up.
He's saying that. I mean, I was going to start calling it proclitomes and stuff just to mess with him, and instead of and I said I said he's going to be starting getting angry, and I said, let me. I'll wait till the next time if he ever comes back on to play around with him a little more. But the fact that like the opposites, and this is what I was trying to tell him. Okay, this is what Parmenides is saying. Great, but to know what something is, you must have nothing as the counterpart. So within something, you can create the nothing exists, and within nothing, something. So like Scribe brought it up when he talked about the binary code in computers. So it can create something that's infinite within something that's finite. And when I said that, he goes, man, you need to write that down. I said, well, the stream is recorded, so that's cool. So we know that something that is finite can create something that's infinite. So, and we see this with math because numbers never end, right? So we know that numbers are infinite, and we can create that from a finite machine like a calculator or something. And now we're saying that, wow, what we thought to be true, it expands. It's not saying it's totally wrong, but it's saying that it expands. And out of all of this stuff, there is stuff that we don't know. We can't maybe understand the concept of nothing existing in the current state of thought that we have. So there's something beyond us that can maybe understand that. And that's where he didn't want, he was like, oh no, now you're talking about ontologies. And I'm like, look, I'm thinking, that's what I'm doing. That's when he started becoming an encyclopedia again, which he has a lot of knowledge. I mean, I give the guy a lot of credit, man. But he has to understand that nobody knows everything. And what we think we know will have flaws. And that's why thinking is so important, because the more we think about what we know, the more we start to see, you know what? I don't really know that much. And that was the Socrates method. Socrates he goes, wisdom is knowing how little we know. But the Parmenides thing, and a few people I've heard talk about Parmenides, I don't know what it is, but this guy puts people in a spell or something. They become like a Jim Jones. They drank the Kool-Aid from Parmenides. And I'm like, look, he's a decent philosopher, but what do you have of him? And then when he came out with the fragments, I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro. So you're telling me fragments they put together. So now it's the telephone game. So somebody interpreted fragments of what Parmenides, they say Parmenides wrote. How accurate is that? It may have come from somebody else, or you only got fragments. What if he says he did get some of this from Confucius and Lao Tzu and from other teachings that came down from thousands of years ago? So that was the little bit of friction, because he was trying to say, no, Parmenides is the father. I said, nobody's the father of that. I said, matter of fact, we could search into it. Socrates was taught to really argue and stuff from a woman. I forgot her name. So they don't want to give women credit. No, any man, any smart man will know you will never win an argument with a woman. A woman is psychologically ahead of a man on level playing field, even 10 years ahead. They're just, they're smart. They understand psychology in some senses way different and better than men. So,
and intuition is there too. So I'm just
intuition goes beyond intellect. So women have intuition, and some dudes, like, he's not acknowledging that. And I'm like, bro, this is the truth. This is what it is. Just talk and look at the psychology of how women operate. They're extremely on another level. So when we look at the woman there was Mozart, also had a sister, they say, taught him, but they don't like to give women the credit, and that's something that, if we bring that into the equation, we start to say Parmenides might have been taught by a woman. The woman's name, Melitus, that's who it was. Melitus was the woman who was a priestess of Diotima, and she was the one that shaped she shaped Socrates' philosophy and ideas on rhetoric. But nobody knows about this woman, and anybody can look this up. So when people say Socrates was a great philosopher, yes, he was, but Melitus was the one that taught him, and that was a woman. She was a priestess. And
how did you hear about that?
Studying. Because I will find stuff, the universe, there's no coincidence, like how we met and all that. There's something beyond us that lets us meet. So when I run into some stuff, it was years ago, and even with the Mozart thing, because I love listening to some Mozart, like his 21 piano concerto and stuff like that. Yeah. But then there's some Mozart that I don't really like listening to. So I like that. I like Paco Bell's Canon. I like some of the Beethoven. I like Moonlight Sonata. Of course, Bach, Air from Bach. I like that. His other stuff is okay, but I like Air. Chopin has a few good ones too. So I don't like everything from them, but they have some clear masterpieces that I really like. Air from Bach is like a healing song,
I don't think I've heard it. I mean, I used to like playing, the piano, like the simple stuff, but I have to check out some more classical.
Yeah, if you hear Air, I think as soon as you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I remember this," because it's a tune where you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I've heard this is Bach," Right. Was it Bach that made that creepy one, the toccata? It's like a.
He does have some weird ones, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. It's like the da-na-na, da-na-na-na. It's a real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he and it's cool. I like that one too. Tchaikovsky, he has some okay. But then Dirty Benny, who I haven't seen in a while, he used to be in the chat. He's a doctor. He's in his 60s. And he made a good point. He goes, this music, they didn't write it. He goes, it had to come from other people. And then when we start to see that Mozart has had an older sister that taught him just the way Melitus taught Socrates. But whatever it is that has been controlling and messing up society, it had to remove the other part of humanity's power, which is the feminine.
Right.
And you look at that, there are so much women. If you mention it, other guys will be like, oh, well, what are you, a feminist? No, I'm not a feminist. I'm just a guy that's given credit where credit is due. Our first teachers in life are the mother. That's just what it is. When we get older, the father is the teacher. But your first sense of love and being held and stuff like that is your mother. You know, now
Right.
some people, you know, might not have, but people don't give enough credit to the mother. And of course, like Robert Bly said, we need more of the father. Because when the father comes home from working, he's angry, he takes it out on the mother, they take it out on us. He goes, we need more, you know, to be together. And that masculine and feminine, you know, because I've always said there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, there's toxic behavior.
Right.
Masculinity is beautiful, just like femininity is beautiful. But this is very important. Doxa to Theo says, "You are the man that hopped on the city bus and oh man, this guy's an idiot." You know, so we have idiots that, and this is funny because in the midst of learning and knowledge, we have people that are so stupid that they'll try to throw water and try to distract people. And that's the problem with society. When you look at these idiots that come in, right, you know, instead of appreciating knowledge and say, you have a lot of these guys, the majority of men,
God.
and
What a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Sorry for
right,
listening.
a total idiot. And this is, I've had people, Mr. X, remember, I've had people, I was the one that when I started to help men with dating, I realized, and you might see this too, you know, when you think about it, the majority of men, over 50%, are not heterosexual.
Yeah.
These guys are butt pirate city. And these are men, people saw it with Andrew Tate, all of these guys, flame straight fruit city.
I
These
think
guys,
because they got molested, though. So many of them got
no, it
molested.
doesn't. There's no excuse from it. You can have a guy that
No.
happened to, and he could be, he could still like these guys. No matter how hard they try, they will never find the clitoris. They don't want the clitoris. They don't want to think about that. They're so sexually inept.
Give me a break, that guy.
Yeah, it's horrible. They're disgusting excuses for males,
Yeah.
and that's Andrew Tate, his brother, both of them closet as can be, deep in the closet. The Myron Gaines guy, all of these dating coaches, all non-hetero, acting as if they're hetero, but what are they doing? They're catching guys that can't get women because these are who they're recruiting. All of these. I was gonna, you know, when I look at the whole Greeks are super butt pirates.
Oh,
Right, but I
big
really
time.
do think it stems from like molesting boys when they're young and they associate the orgasm with a male touch. Like it's like programming. So I'm just saying
Yeah.
it
No,
has to stop.
again, you got to look at it as regardless what happened to you when you were younger, it like and SFD, you're right. He'd say over 90% are in the closet. When you look at the amount of closet stuff, it's not, no matter what all right, no matter what somebody does to you, you can't do that to somebody else and blame what happened to you. You have to, that's part of being a man. You see,
No,
and
but having a preference for men is because you associate
no, if you
pleasure.
have a preference,
I think it's genetic. I think it's genetic,
yeah,
personally.
it's something that's it. Like, okay, I used to tell guys this. If you think there are people who dress up like women that, you know, sometimes you can't tell it, that you like, wow, I thought this was a chick, right? But once you know that it's not a chick, okay, hey, thank you, I'm hetero. These guys won't do that. They will take it a step further, maybe if they're in a sexual act, and then when they find out, they'll finish the act. Neo Wolf did that. He said,
Oh,
he
yeah.
literally
At the
said,
party.
woke up and the dude is blowing him. They got drunk, they were at the place, and he let him finish. I said,
I
well,
know.
you're not hetero.
Exactly. What kind of party is that anyway? You know?
The fact that you didn't go straight Manson on this dude, American Psycho, shows me that you are not hetero. Now, you don't got to off the dude, but you got to, you know, no, you stop. I was telling the guy, we were talking the other day, I said, you could be in a woman stroking. If she says stop, you got to stop, pull out and get up. That's it. There ain't no you're going to finish, because that's called grape. A lot of guys don't understand that. You as a woman, you understand that, right?
Yes.
If a guy's doing something, you're having sex with him. If you say stop, he has to stop. That's it.
But why would he even bring that up? Why would he even admit to that unless he just wanted to see who thought it was cool? You know what I mean?
Wait, who was this?
Neo got Neo, whatever it's called.
He was looking for recruits. He was
I
looking
think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean the guy.
It's
that
like
just
the
made
other
that
guy,
nasty
toilet
comment?
paper.
The guy
Yeah.
that just made the nasty comment.
No, that this guy is just some other butt pirate that made the comment.
Oh,
He
okay.
just, but yeah, there's another guy. Toilet paper said that he was kissing on this dude, this thing
Dude,
that he thought was a chick, and he started feeling, and he felt a pair of nuts, and it's like, bro, and he's telling people, I'm like, what do you? Why would we even want to know that, man?
he wants to see who's cool with it.
Yeah, yeah, he's looking for Fruit City, man. That's what he's looking for. He's looking, how does he get to Fruit City? He wants to follow the yellow fruit road. And these dudes, when I started realizing how many guys are okay with that, you would see some of the most masculine guys and you would never realize it until it gets to that point and you say, wow. There's a girl, she was married to a guy and she realized her husband was a pedo. She has a video. It was on YouTube. She had like a short video, and she's looking at her husband. She goes, "What are you doing?" And he was like doing something to a picture on TV or something. And then she was saying, she goes, "I just realized, I think he was with like a 14-year-old chick." She goes, "That's, what are you, crazy?" And he tried to make excuses. I mean, look at the president. This is crazy, man. We're living in a time where people are, I mean, it's hard for people to really be honest about this. I notice. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't, I stopped in that field because I realized it was just too much. It was just too many of them, man. The fact that they start to be very misogynistic too. Any guy that points out, like I'm pointing out, that it was a woman who taught Socrates Miletus, it was a Mozart's older sister who taught him some of the stuff, if he even wrote that music, or if that music could have came from somewhere else. But they all, it's like you can't say nothing good about women. It's like something's wrong with you. It's like they're afraid of women. They're afraid of women. They I don't know what it is, but for me personally, I think we're adapting forward into heterosexuality. That there's a big mystery there. I haven't touched upon everything on it, but yeah, it's crazy. SFD says, but pirates that LARP as heterosexual often say that they can't tell difference between a tran and a real woman. They can't help themselves to even hide it. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I don't know if you ever saw Conscious Rising when Tate literally says that he would rather bang tranny Megan Fox than an ugly woman.
Wait, is Megan Fox a tranny?
No, he's saying that if you had
Oh.
a tranny that looked like Megan Fox or a woman that looked like Hulk Hogan, he would sleep with the tranny. And he literally
I only saw Andrew Tate speak ever when he got interviewed by Candace Owens. I've never paid attention to him before.
He had a video where he's talking to the camera about that. And I had to show it to guys when they were saying, oh, they were supporting Tate. I said, this guy is not, I said, this is crazy. And nothing against people that choose that. But when you're deceptive with that, now that's the problem. How would you feel if a guy was with you and then you find out that he's a butt pirate? Wouldn't you feel betrayed?
Yeah, I had a friend whose dad died of AIDS, and it was her dad. He was gay, and it's
no, but it's not like that. It's a guy that I don't know if you're married or not, but say you were dating a guy, right? And you're having sex, and you have a sexual relationship, and then you find out that this guy had relations with another dude. How would you feel? Wouldn't you feel betrayed?
Yeah, I mean, it would be really sad.
Yeah, because women in porn talk about that. And when a woman is with a guy who's not hetero, the chances of getting an STD is like it goes up past 10 times. It's about 16 times more likely for her to get an STD from this guy. It was so bad in Atlanta, Georgia, and in Washington, D.C., women were getting high rates of STDs because these guys were coming from butt pirate parties and then having unprotected sex with these women.
Oh, God.
which causes cervical cancer. If you have any type of fecal matter that touches the cervix, that's what causes it. Can cause HPV, which causes cervical, which can
Right.
lead to that, you know.
Like
And
viruses, yeah, all viruses. I mean, I think some
yeah, all of
bacteria.
that stuff. Yeah, in my opinion, to be within YouTube's guidelines. But yeah, this is an epidemic. It's not even, you know, and this
It
is
really
why,
is.
yeah, a lot of these guys are so happy to go toward, you know, for me, I don't want to go to some robot or some doll. I rather a real woman, you know. So, and nothing against, I'm not saying the guys that go toward that are all going to be butt pirates, but I would say a large percentage of them are. I mean, why would you want to give up something that's so beautiful? You know, the natural, uh, you know, it's like, why? And the only reason is because they're not hetero. You know, I mean, the majority of stuff that happens to kids is because, you know, of that. It just, it's not hetero people doing it. You know, not to say that hetero people are 100%, you know, exonerated from crimes, but when you look at these crimes, it's done by people who are what's known as sexual deviants. And
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, who wants to deal with poop? You know what I mean? I just don't even understand
yeah, it's
that at
matter
all.
that's how hepatitis A is spread when they
Yeah.
do stuff like that. You know, any type of matter that like that a person ingests. You
I
know,
think everything is. I mean, you can get everything from that. I
it's
mean,
so
Yeah.
AIDS breed
scary.
all the bugs. I mean, people are
Yeah,
passing around bugs. It's all
yeah,
in the poop.
it's very very scary. It's like I remember one guy he found some research, and this is where you know I also find research. Like I'll share, and other guys will share stuff. And he said that there was a research in ancient Greece. They would make the women shave their heads so they would look more like boys when they were behind them.
Mm.
You know, doggy style. You know, having sex in that thing. How sick is that?
I think it's like domination stuff because you know how men have sometimes have that like gene of like
Well, not
gladiator or
men, not
football or
men.
something.
But that's the difference between a male and a man. It's not a man; it's a male, because
Right.
he never matured. A man is about maturity. A man wouldn't do that. So this is the difference when we think it's like to make the distinguishment between a male and a man lets you see like, oh, men wouldn't do that. This guy's not a man, no matter how muscular, how big, how he never matured into. You don't do stuff like that. You know you protect the woman, you know, and if it just I'm surprised that I had to tell these guys. It's embarrassing to have to be able to say, man, I got to teach you this you know, these people are 30, 40. Yeah,
No,
man.
it's,
Yeah,
that's why I say I think virtual reality is going to be a better life. Look at the real world; it's not pretty. It's really not. If you think
not.
about it, it's
I
not.
mean, yeah, but you know, virtual to me, it's great having the internet and you know stuff like that. But as far when it comes to relationships,
Hmm.
you got to have the real thing. Now, I understand
I agree, but is it really a viable option in this year?
it's hard.
It's,
It's hard.
I
It's
don't think it
definitely,
is anymore.
yeah.
I
I
really
mean, a
don't.
lot of people aren't able to get in relationships because
Mhm.
they're just not like I have a friend, he complains about women, and I said, listen, there's different rules for different people. I said, I never experienced problems like that. And
Mhm.
he does. And he's, you know, he's much shorter and he has like a more of a cartoony type of voice and he's kind of Lord of the Rings. He's like one of them, you know, like dwarf troll type of thing. And there's nothing wrong. You know, there's good people who are shorter, whatever, right? Um, he doesn't have that. And I see how women treat him, and he's kind of creepy. And I told him, I said, you know, you got to stop being creepy. But how do you tell him stop being creepy?
You
It's like,
can't. You
yeah,
can't.
you can't. So, and when he complains, I say, well, you know, he'll try to get mad at me because I'm not mad at women. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to hate with you. They want a hate fest, and I'm not going to do that. So,
No.
you know, and he finally found somebody to be with him, and she's not, you know, she's kind of, it's kind of like the looks match. It looks like a little hobbit couple, you know, and
Hmm.
it and he doesn't really like that. He's like, oh man, you know, I don't like having sex with this. And I was like, well, that's your match. was like, what do you expect? It's like Billy Joel who wanted the supermodel, right?
Right.
Okay, he could sing. He's a genius musically, but you paying. Don't expect her to really. They eventually got divorced. I think he married Christy
Of course.
Brinkley. Which I don't think she's really that pretty anyway. But that's what he wanted. That was his fantasy, and it didn't last. I think Billy Joel lived on Long Island. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think he's from Long Island, New York. But
Yeah.
yeah, you look at that and it's like, okay, you're playing outside of your league. And I understand, like when these guys are rich and they're shorter, why not get a shorter woman? Don't you? He's like 5'5". Christy
But
Billington, he's like 6 foot, I think.
but you have to be attracted to the woman, otherwise it's really not an option.
Well, no,
See, and vice versa. It's just not it's not an option for a guy. You're not going to
yeah,
be satisfied.
yeah. Well, she's got to be attracted to him, really. It's like
Well, for her to enjoy it, yeah.
yeah, both ways. Not saying you got to go sleep with a troll, but it's like,
Mhm.
okay, look at Jason Statham with his girl. Every picture you look at, she's it's a 20-year difference, but that girl ain't happy. You
No.
know, he's shorter than her and she's wearing high heels. That's a sign right there.
Well, that's pay for play at the end of the day. That's just pay for
Yeah,
play.
I guess they're married or whatever, but you could
Yeah, but
look
it's
at
the same thing. She's not
yeah,
attracted to him. Yeah.
yeah, it's like she's not going to wear a woman wearing high heels that makes her taller than the guy. She's like screaming for a taller guy to come save her. You
Hmm.
know, I knew a girl that was married to a guy. He was about 5'4". She's about 5'5". She told me she never wore heels. As soon as they broke up, she bought a pair. She would only wear high heels. But she knew that okay, if you're wearing that with a guy, I mean, you're not conscious of what you're doing, or you're screaming subconsciously for somebody else, basically.
Right.
And guys didn't like when I used to bring that reality to them. They used to get angry about that. So I said, you know what? What am I doing? There's no sense in
Right.
helping people like that. It
No,
just
there is none. You're not. You're just going to get arguments and backlash for giving them the truth.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
You were talking. I'm sorry. You were talking about Jason Statham, the actor.
yeah.
And I just looked at pictures, and she doesn't look that much taller than him. I mean, she looks taller because she's wearing heels.
Exactly. So why would she wear heels to be taller than him?
Because all those retarded people do it. I don't know. I mean, he could be
So yeah,
partially.
it could be she's unaware, or it could be that it could be a kind of her trying to express her dominance on him. But a
Right.
girl that really is conscious is going to say, "Let me wear flats," because
Right.
one, high heels messes up your back. It causes back problems. Um, Also, you would think, yeah, why are you're dwarfing your man. If you wore flats, you'd be the same size. You'd look more couple-like.
Right. Well, I think there's also something about men that like really, really tall women. It's a sign that they're gay because
Mm,
when they like those tall models, just because they're the closest thing, they're like their body is as big as a guy's. You know what I mean?
well, I
So
think I think they're unaware, like because all right, I'm 6'1", right? I'm not trying to date a girl that's 6'2". I've seen pretty girls that are tall. I've seen girls my height, and I'm like, holy smoke, this is a tall chick. But why?
right,
I'm just, to me, I'm like, okay, even a girl that's 5'9" or 5'10", she's more matching with a guy that's like 6'4". But girls that are 5'9", I've dated a girl that was 5'9". She wears heels. We're close. If she wears 3-inch heels, I'm still taller than her, but that's the power of height. Like shorter girls, I notice the attraction. There's a difference. Like when a girl's 5'1" to 5'4", it's a stronger attraction because I'm much taller than her. The taller she is, I dated a blonde chick that was 5'11", and I realized that she couldn't find the guys that was 6'5" were dating the shorter girls that were like 5'5", because
yeah,
they could get her. So I'm like, oh, she's going with me because I'm like the only guy she can find that's taller than her. Not by much, but I'm taller.
Right. It's
So
weird. It's weird how that is because yeah, the tall girls have it like unless you're like a top model and the guys like
they have it
actually
hard to find
they have it
taller
very
guys.
hard. Yes, it's hard. Yes.
Yeah, so like a short guy and a tall woman, sometimes you see them together. And I said this, and a guy got really offended. I said, because nobody wants neither one of you. You know, I say, who,
Oh.
you know, and I was brutal with people when I did the dating relation, and I was doing it for free, helping people. But Mr. X remembers I was brutal to some people.
Yeah,
They were very angry, but I was like, look, you want the truth or you want to lie? If you want to lie, go to these other guys. You want the truth?
right.
This is what I'm telling you.
They wanted the lie. They wanted the game lie.
Yep. They wanted
And
they want
look what it turned out. Game
yeah,
is no longer even a topic
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, exactly. Now, if it's a guy, you see some guys that are very short, they get a tall girl, and the tall girl can't get okay, great. You guys make the couple, whatever. But it's a tough one. Yeah, because tall girls, I noticed that. I noticed that. It's like I've seen it with my cousins. Like I have a cousin, she's kind of tall, and I think she's around 5'11", and her husband is 6 foot, but he's overweight. So she accepted a guy that was overweight because he was a little taller than her than a
I've
short.
seen that in real life. I've seen that in real life.
Exactly. So she knows it's like, and it's so sad because you'll see a tall guy, I mean, a regular size. Like, look at Tom Cruise. Was he 5'7" or something?
Maybe. I
It's
don't
over.
know.
He's
Yeah.
real short. Yeah.
Yeah, it's over. You look at his pictures with Nicole Kidman, she doesn't even want to be with him. You look at some of the poses, even the younger girl he dated, Katie Holmes, not the best
Well,
looking chick.
he's completely homosexual. You know that, right?
I've
Who
heard.
is?
I
Tom
mean, him
Cruise?
and John
Yeah, I've
Travolta are
heard that. Yeah,
completely
I've
gay.
heard
Oh,
that.
John Travolta is definitely homosexual. I know that.
Oh, him too.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty wife, Kelly Preston. She was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It just it's tough. But Cruz, yeah, Cruz is Blood Pirate, and it's most of them are. I don't think you're gonna get in Hollywood being straight. That's
I
just my
agree with that.
yeah. It's just my opinion. You
I
can
say
pick.
this old picture of Clint Eastwood in the 50s, you can see it. Clint Eastwood in the 50s, and he's in a bathing suit at a pool on the phone, and it looks straight sus.
Yeah, he is in a film. It's so disgusting. The girl's like 10, and he's kissing her on camera on the lips. I forgot what movie it was. It's horrible.
Oh
At,
God.
at most 12, but I think she was 10 in the movie. It's creepy. Anybody can look it up and see it. I think they have, the whole Hollywood thing, the music thing especially. It's a very
Yeah.
sus industry. Yeah,
I
it's a
think
Look
very,
at
there's a
that Marlon
few. I think there's
Brando.
a few hetero people there, but not many.
I
yeah,
have
no,
my doubts. I
yeah.
really have my doubts at this point. I mean, Marlon Brando was really in the closet.
Oh, Marlon Brando, James Dean, the
Yeah.
guy who got killed in a car crash.
Hmm.
I couldn't believe Rock Hudson. You would think that's the
Yeah.
masculine, tall, straight with Gomer Pyle, right? That
Oh
was it.
yeah.
He died, left $40 million to Gomer Pyle. It's like holy smokes.
Oh wait, really? Rock Hudson left 40 million to Gomer Pyle?
Yeah, and guys, comics were making jokes. They were like they'd dig them up and bang them for 40 million. It was hilarious. I mean, people were making jokes like it was. It was a tough one. It was a tough one. And you would never think that. But all of the guys in Hollywood, especially, matter of fact, there was a guy that came on here. I interviewed him. He knows a lot about the closet stuff in Hollywood, like those early days. Diego knows.
Oh
And
yeah.
he knew. I was like, wow. He was breaking stuff out where I was like, wow. It just, yeah, yeah. And
I
this
used to
is-
work. I used to work in Hollywood for one actor, and I don't think he's gay. I mean, he has an open relationship with his wife, but I mean, he could be.
Who's
but
that? Who's that?
Who was it?
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. I don't.
Okay. Now, if you have an open relationship, and I said this before, and guys were like, they were like, wow, that's a very like smart assessment. Hold the truth, actually. I told him when a guy's in an open relationship, that to me, that just means he doesn't want to be with a woman and want the woman's scent. He wants the scent of another man on that woman.
Yeah.
If she's banging somebody else and she's coming home and he's going to sleep with her, I don't want to sleep with a girl like that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I don't think his wife was sleeping around though.
But if it's an open relationship, why wouldn't she be?
Well, I don't know if
right? You see what I'm saying?
No, but since I said their name, I don't really want to say anything.
No, I'm not. You don't have to say her name, but what I'm saying is, you would say it's not an open relationship, or you would say, like some guys would say, well, I can do what I want, but she can't sleep with anybody else.
I mean, a straight male wouldn't even bring it up, to be honest.
I think she was allowed to, but I just think
and that's the thing. If she's allowed to, then that means you're okay with having the scent of another man on your woman. I don't want to be with a woman that has the scent. I want to be with a woman
straight men don't want that.
Or of other women. It could be other women.
Well, even that, because the vagina has a certain pH to it, and it's very delicate. When a woman is with another woman, it changes the pH. It changes the smell. It's easier for them to get diseases. Who knows who this other woman is with?
Oh, God.
You know, so why would I want to do that?
Right.
You know, and why would I be with a woman if I'm sleeping with other women? I only got one Johnson. What am I gonna? You know, it's like I'm okay with one chick. I've never cheated on a woman I've been with. It makes no sense. I'd rather break up with her and do what I want to do. And that's being a man, you know. And a lot of guys, they're so thirsty. The reason they cheat is because they're so insecure. They don't think that they can get that if they were single. They figure, let me get it like a dog. Let me eat it while it's there. It's like, I'm not a dog. I'm a man. And a lot of these guys, I realized, weren't men. They would never say what I'm saying because they're like animals.
Right.
Right? I mean, this is just the way I grew up, the way I am. And my whole life, I've noticed people trying to make me kneel. And I'm like, I'm not going to. I'm going to be the man that I was born to be. And that's what it is. I was born a man, and I need nothing to be a man. I'm a man. And people, I don't know what it is, but no matter what they say, if you change, well, that's who you were. It just revealed who you were. They can't tell me, well, this happened. Or no, that's what you wanted all along. You know, that's what you wanted, you know. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have nothing against those guys. If people say, well, what can you say about somebody who's not hetero that's good? I would say, well, they leave more women for me and then they take another guy with them. So, hey, you know what? Look, hey, no hate. I'm not, I already know that hate is just a mask that fear wears. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to be me. As soon as you accept yourself for who you are, you become beautiful. And that's what it is with women, men, anybody. And this is
well said there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. It reminds me of Mr. Snake, when you said hate covers fear. It reminds me of it, what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they said authenticity is the highest frequency or vibration to be on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and it's a lonely path, and that's okay. I'll meet other people. You guys are authentic. The universe has a way. When I tell people, you can never be alone if you love yourself, because then it's solitude. You embrace solitude. I'm happy when I have solitude. So when you love yourself, that's the first step. How can I love anybody else if I don't love myself? It starts with loving myself. Like even objective ethics, like he had a little beef, saying that I said something that he got angry with. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? And he goes, oh, you said that I think I know everything. I said, okay, find the clip on the stream when you came on here and I said that. It's been over a month. He still hasn't sent it to me. And I was like, wow, you still thinking about that? I'm like, what's it just, and he was smart enough. He understood that you can't disrespect somebody if you respect yourself. And I gave him a lot of credit for that. And he's right. If you respect yourself, you can't the only way you can disrespect somebody or throw litter on the ground or something like that is if you don't respect yourself. You can't disrespect the earth, animals, yourself if you love yourself. If you respect yourself. So that's where it begins. It all begins with ourselves. And I'm going to walk that path. I like walking that path. It's not that I have to try to walk the path. It's just me. It's just me. And I love it. As much as stuff I go through with the breathing and all of that stuff, sometimes it gets hard to live,
Well,
but
that's what we didn't finish talking about that. So the whole thing, the dairy, you got to stop eating the dairy, the gluten, the eggs, because
yeah,
that
yeah.
creates the
Well,
mucus
the eggs, are
environment.
the eggs really that bad or?
Well, they create the mucus environment in the body, and they feed the any Epstein-Barr virus, like, so the neurological asthma is related to the Epstein-Barr virus. Everybody has Epstein-Barr virus. Like, the medical industry actually says it now, and and medical medium forever. Everybody's got these dormant viruses in their organs, just sitting there, like waiting to, for an opportunistic time to come out, maybe, and like try to take over and become cancer eventually. But because everybody gets it from like mononucleosis, the kissing disease, or whatever they injected in us, whatever, when
Mhm.
we're babies, whatever. But like, everybody has it, so the eggs feed, like, they grow viruses in labs in eggs, so like that's their favorite food is eggs. So I know that he mentioned, though, just it's a mucus forming food, so like he says mucus is in everybody's body. It's used to like help prevent certain it helps fight off bacteria and stuff and whatever. But when you have asthma, you don't want to have these mucus forming foods. So there's a few things that you can do. It's like, and you'll be able to like kick it, like, you won't have to use inhalers. Like, if you actually follow the protocol for it, you figure out if yours is completely just, bronchial, or if it's neurological and bronchial. You could totally just attack the problem, and you'd be getting relief right away. I mean, just stop eating all those, the no foods, and
Yeah,
I'll be available. You can ask me any question. Like, I just love sharing the information and helping people. So, whatever, like, even if like, if you ever, like, once a month wanted to do like a show, like, find out what medical medium says about your things, and people could call up and be like, well, I have this issue. Like, I'll just share whatever information I have, in case anyone's interested. But you could easily, he's like, there's so many people, like, you can get rid of asthma. Like, it's not like, not one of the hardest things to get rid of, but you do have to lower your fats.
yeah. And you know what? I do feel better when I eat less bread.
Yeah, because that's gluten in bread, so
Yeah,
that's
'cause
another thing that mucus
yeah,
forming.
yeah, bread.
And grains. He says grains aren't really that great for people. So it's not, yours isn't the easiest thing to get rid of, but I mean, it's simple, but it's not always easy,
Yeah.
because your food choices are lessened. But you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and a ton of like potatoes and squashes, and like green peas. Like, I mean, there's really healing foods that you can get all your calories from. Like, that's the toughest part about eating the healing diets, like what medical medium is because if you don't eat meat, because meat and fats, like I think we talked about it with Drew Ma, like, the whole thing is like getting the amount of calories that you need. So if you're not eating fat and protein, you have to eat so much more of the other carbs, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
that's what your body needs to heal, and to eat less protein and fat, because protein has so much fat in it. That's
Mhm.
how you're gonna, because you said when you're eating fat all the time, your liver wants to do all these things for you to help you get that mucus out of your lungs that has the other shit in it, but it can't really get it out if you're like constantly just adding more fat to your diet every day, because then your liver has to deal with getting all that fat out of your body every day. Every meal that you add fat to your body, that's its number one job. When you actually stop eating fat every day, then your liver can do all sorts of other things, like clear out old junk from your lungs. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. Yeah, you know a lot about this. Drew Ma is a fitness teacher. He taught me a lot too. He's been vegan since I've known him since 2012 or
Yeah.
something.
No, I mean, and it's amazing because, before medical medium, I'd be the same way as him. I'd be vegan. I mean, I'm also a strength trainer, personal trainer. Like, it would be the same thing, but medical medium is the one that takes like the health knowledge to another level, because he gets it from a higher source. Whether or not you believe it, you don't have to believe it. You just have to do the protocols, and you'll find out for yourself if it's true, because it's all true. You
Mm.
just have to, you have to do it yourself, but then you know.
Wow, that's so cool. I appreciate it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been feeling, pretty good. What something must have been in the air the last like 2 weeks, because the other day I came out of the library at night and the air was just thick. And I basically, again, I had to use the inhaler, and I was just like, man, I was like, something's going on. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a trigger. It's a trigger. All these things are going to be triggers for you.
yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
but you don't use any fragrances in your house, do you? You don't use
No,
scented
no, I don't
candles.
wear any cologne, nothing. I just, I use non-fragrance soap. I try to definitely, make sure, because I noticed if I'm like one time I was with a chick years ago and she, I guess, had perfume. And I remember when I kissed her neck, my lips were burning. And I was like, what the heck is on this perfume? And, I told her, I said, oh my goodness, this is and, it's kind of weird because when I used to like go to the vegan things and stuff like that, because I was vegan in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. And
Right.
I never had breathing. Like this only happened. Uh, it started happening lightly around 2012, and then I noticed, like like certain things. I had to link it. I was like, yeah, there's some pollutants in the air, and definitely what I eat allows me. It can make it worse or better. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. You can get sure, yeah. So, and you don't use there's no fragrances in your laundry.
Nothing like I
cleaners?
always make sure I get like the Arm and Hammer unscented, but I know
Good.
that's not the best because they also have other stuff, I guess. And I'll either get all unscented, yeah. So
I
I'll
mean,
make
you can
sure.
get some. There's natural products that you can get. I mean, there's some
Yeah, there's like
online shopping.
seventh generation or something. I
Yeah,
think they
seventh generation ecos, but some ecos actually has some fragrance. Like you have to make sure nothing says any kind of the word fragrance automatically means it's chemical, and it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah. So it should be pretty easy for you if you just get the details. You know what I mean? If you just if it's going to be a link, it's going to have a podcast that you should listen to.
hmm
Hopefully you have enough time, and then you can read it first, like to read the blog about it. But like the podcast, I think it's a pretty good one. He actually talks about. I was like, wait, this is the perfect one for you because he's talking about belief systems. He's like, what a human belief. He's like going into like what is belief. It was just interesting. But yeah, I think you'll like it. So
Wow, cool.
you'll
No, I
play with it.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's yeah, I figured this was a great stream. It's 12:30. I got to get up a little early tomorrow, but thank you, Conscious Rising, for coming
Oh my
on.
God. Thank you for doing what you do. And
Great.
thanks, Mr.
Yeah,
X.
Yeah.
And
Great
chat.
job. Thank you for coming on, Conscious. Yeah, great input.
Thank you.
definitely. Yeah, we'll talk soon, and yeah, I'll stream tomorrow night. You guys take care. Everybody in the chat, thank you. Have a great night. Good night.